There we go, right? You can hear it now. Okay. I gotta do the intro again. This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show,
I know how to fix it quick
let
now.
this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, did you hear what I said?
Come on, man. What's wrong with you? 5 brain cells, 4 aren't working. There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
You know, that's just one step above stupid.
Huh? It's the house!
All right, there we go. Hey, you can see me now. Oh, I don't have the chat over there. Hold on a second. I gotta get the chat in the... Where is it? There we go. You're on the screen. No, it's not live, Godly. It's not live at all. I just knew that you were going to come here, so I pre-recorded your name. It's weird how I did that. Yeah, make sure to get the ooh 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 mug, okay? And the wow, just wow, okay? Only 11 of you have bought the damn thing. I spent hours making it. Come on. Jesus. Yeah, it's a little bit early today, a little bit early. Yep, so mean. Wow, you're throwing me into jail right off the bat, huh? Wow. I got thrown into the prison and the show hadn't even started yet. Boy, you can just blame that on Annabella Roma. When you get thrown into prison when the show hasn't even started, you know you've done something wrong. It's unreal. But anyways, the Murdersheet put out a podcast today that we'll be discussing here in a minute once I get out of prison, and the chat's in prison too for throwing me in jail at the same time. All right, not good. Or is it? I'll take you out of jail. It's just me. Yeah, it's a little early. Yep. See, like in Clio threw me in the prison. You guys are all. You got the wow, just wow. All right, cool. Wow, just wow. Maybe we'll start a movement where people don't type that in anymore. Okay, yeah. You haven't called in yet. All right. Well, I'm not sure why I need to know that, but yeah. Awesome. Hey, thanks, Allie Cake. Right out the get-go. Is that enough to get me out of prison? Not sure. I think that's enough to hand the guard a $5 to look the other way. I hopped on board to get you to make a WoW mug, so I got me one. Yeah, you guys are the ones that wanted me to make the WoW Just WoW mug, right? Like, you're the ones that made me do it. Whatever it... I don't know. We don't really have a set amount. I think I might do something like that, though, where there's things that people can purchase, like the soap on a rope. Things like that, and then as you do it, a bar removes or something. I don't know. I'll have to figure out how to do it. Hey, thanks, Jim Long. I did talk to Kelsey today for a while. We were just talking about various elements, and maybe about the, just kind of about the probable cause having it be released, and it kind of makes sense what they're saying is. I mean, it's possible, that what's being said might affect what a jury, how easy it is to get a jury. Like, you put out a probable cause in Carroll County, and it's really, let's say it's really damning. How do you find a jury, even anywhere, really? Because it's out there, and everybody's talking about it. It'll be all over the news. Thank you, Macaque Tracker, and Lori Fisher, and Jim Lawn, and LMM, and Lisa Murphy, and also Lynette Joy. And also, in the Debbie Collier case, Amanda, the daughter, Amanda Bearden, she was on a show yesterday for an hour and a half, and I was given permission to go over the interview, but I don't really want to play the whole thing because it's an hour and a half, and some of it's like personal information about the the mother, so I'm sort of having to edit it up. So there you go. All right, let me get out of here. All right, thanks for bailing me out of prison there. All right, let me get the music playing again. All right, so the Murdersheet did a podcast today, and in it, they had some interesting information. And it's actually stuff that we speculated on this show. That maybe the Richard Allen was discovered. I mean, maybe when they did the reset, remember saying that? They did the reset, and maybe just recently going through the names again, his name maybe popped up. And maybe because the funny thing is a person coming forward saying, oh, I was at the bridge that day, that should have raised tremendous alarm bells at the time, but apparently when they talked to him, it didn't work. I wonder if this question was asked. Oh, so you were out at the bridge? Oh, wow, you were out at the trails that day. Is that you on the bridge? I wonder if he would have said sure, because originally law enforcement did say, we just want to talk to this person. And you wonder if he had just, without the audio yet, he might have agreed because he just felt like, oh, yeah, that's me. And this case would have been over a long time ago. Isn't that weird? Because then they would have had all the rest. They had already tied it to the murder, but they could have sold it in the public and maybe just asked, hey, was that you? Was that you? Welcome, Jonesy. And yes, if you guys would like to subscribe to the channel, please do so. Make sure to hit that like button when you show up. That would be awesome, even if you hate my guts. So that I'm sort of like the Murdersheet like that. Like some people don't like the Murdersheet, and some people don't like me, yet they listen to all of their shows and they watch my show. Okay, so even if you're not likable, you obviously appreciate somebody's work. So somebody today made this post in a Facebook group that was like, God, I really like Ray's stuff, and then went on like a 10-minute 200-line tirade and said, but I do like his stuff. It's just the passive-aggressive nonsense that's on social media is something that is really embarrassing to just, it doesn't fool anybody. And those posts are only created to create a wave of hate and anger, and so there you go. It was in the Down the Hill Facebook group. Boy, just a bastion of accurate information. Let's see. I've read some goofy things about you on. Oh yeah, Reddit's absolutely bullshit. When I go onto Reddit, I'll comment and I'll try to defend myself. I'll say, well, I'm in a unique position to know that you're a lunatic because everything you just wrote is absolute crap. And then they'll say, oh, I knew you'd show up. Man, Gray, you're such a narcissist. You're always trying to defend yourself. Oh, okay. So a narcissist is somebody that just tells you that you're wrong? Yeah, Reddit is an embarrassment. There's a very few times where there's a post that's meaningful and you get actual information. The rest of it's just a joke. Okay? And that's the truth. It's just a place for people to bash, troll, and bitch about every single thing in the world. So anyways, let's get to, I'm going to play a couple clips. I'm not going to play their whole podcast. We're just doing this for reviewing. But I have the link in the description to the actual episode of the Murdersheet. And you should check it out. And now I just have to figure out where the hell I put it. There, just a second. Did I put it in this folder? Oh, yeah. Stupid. And by the way, I misspelled loan like like money loan. I was just typing so fast, my brain didn't use the right one. I did it twice. All right, so this is the first element that they mentioned on there. So we'll talk about these. So here we go.
Very cordial, but I remembered what pulled me to his name tag was his voice.
Yeah, so this
very
is,
cordial.
This part right here is a friend that. Hey, thanks, Mac. This is somebody that knew him in high school, and later in life, when I guess he worked in Peru at a CVS in Peru. Hey, thanks, Mac. Appreciate it. She went in there to buy something, and he recognized her, and then it went like this.
Very cordial, but I remembered what pulled me to his name tag was his voice. When he talked, it was slow, but not stupid, if that makes sense. There was no excitement with the way that he talked. So when he spoke to me that day, and I was just looking down at my shit on the counter, I was like, that sounds really familiar.
Oh, yes, they do, Scarlett. Yes, they do.
We asked Amanda if she thought his voice sounded like the voice recorded on Libby's phone. She said that she did not want to speculate too much, but that it was close. And when she listened to it again with all of this in mind, it gave her chills. So let's take a moment to jump back to our interview with Gabriella, one of Rick's former classmates at North Miami High School.
Yes, because Amanda there just took us up to 2016, 2017, and Gabrielle can tell us a little bit more.
He was interviewed after the murders happened. Police did interview him, and I got that through his wife telling mutual friends that happened. She played it off more like he was just part of the community and they were interviewing everybody in the community, and that's why he was interviewed right away. But I don't know if there was more than that.
Actually, the story that his wife told people wasn't quite true. Russ McQuaid of Channel 59 here in Indianapolis.
Well, it doesn't mean that his wife knew the story, because Kagan could have just said, oh, they interviewed me today. But in reality, he came forward.
Reported that actually Alan went to the police himself and identified himself as someone who was at the trails at roughly the time of the murders.
Can you believe that? I mean, Alan had identified himself at roughly the time of the murders. And man, doesn't that just feel like that should, I mean, I'm not even just doing hindsight. That's something like right out of the 101 sort of situation where, people that are criminals often will interject themselves into the case and quickly, make sure that they give an alibi really quick before they come onto them naturally. They want to come for, oh yeah, I was there. I'm just trying to be helpful. I want you to clear me really quick so you can get on to the real killer. Hey, thank you very much, Dixie Chicken.
So naturally, police at that time were interested in talking to him for whatever reasons. Maybe this is something we can discuss in the future. He got off the radar, and he wasn't really a target of the investigation, wasn't really a focus of the investigation for a while. And obviously, at some point, that changed. And there's been speculation about what it was that made that change.
Very cordial, but I remembered what pulled me.
Okay, that was replaying again. So what do you guys think of that? Isn't that crazy? So that was clip number 1. So they're actually talking about how, that sort of, I guess a news channel verified that story, the one that we've been told, but it was just sort of rumors. And so now it's that he came forward to law enforcement to let them know that he was on the trail during near the same time. So I wonder if the question was asked, is that you on the bridge? Because if that was asked, then all of a sudden, I think that if they had asked that question early on, he may have admitted, oh yeah, that's me. Yeah, I was just walking around. But they would have had much more information to put together, obviously, because they have the video. Yeah. So, well, see what I mean? Like LMM up there is leaving merely because she doesn't like the murder sheet and is leaving. But the murder sheet, despite you not liking them or anybody not liking them, has put out good information over the last 10 months. Okay, before that they weren't doing anything with the Delphi case. All right, so that's the truth, and they've been putting out information that without them there would have been almost nothing in the media at all. But it's interesting how it's possible now that the revelation of Richard Allen may have happened naturally on its own, regardless of any of that. Thank you, Adrian Minthorn and Tosh. Oh, you got your wow? All right. Hilarious. Just hilarious. All right. So here is clip number 2.
Some people have said that Kathy Walker Allen, Rick's wife, tipped police off after she either found something or became suspicious. That's been one of the persistent rumors out there about how Rick Allen was arrested. And we can confirm that that's not the case.
But why don't we talk a little bit about Kathy Walker Allen?
Okay, so they went on to talk a little bit about her, but that it's not true. Okay, so she is not the person who tipped off. And I don't think any of us, we thought, is that a possibility or something like that, but it was never like, oh my God, she's the one that, people just talk about things. Okay, now here's the third one.
Basically, Rick Allen came back on the radar after some...
So this is the main part of this. Here we go, listen.
Basically, Rick Allen came back on the radar after somebody connected to the Delphi investigation was going through old tips, came upon some sort of file or documentation regarding Rick Allen, and basically looked at it and thought that it needed a second look.
See, but that's exactly, see what I'm saying? Like if that's true, then it's way more likely, he could very well be a lone wolf person here. Spelled L-O-N-E, okay, not lone like a loan shark. But anyways, it's weird, right? And when you listen to that, you think at that point that, okay, there was just like some detective going through old stuff. But however, it doesn't really mean that it's not completely, it's more the scenario where, it doesn't completely throw the whole Kagan-Klein connection out the window. And they even talked about that at the end because it sounds like Kagan is moving forward with, having another extension, and they just accepted it really quick. There was no time waited or anything like that, like I mentioned last night on the show. And so does that mean that somehow he is connected and set up the girls? Like he's communicating, like let's say Kagan's communicating with Libby on his phone, and then there's this little network of people, and he goes, hey, I got a couple that'll probably meet you out there, to this crazy person, and all of this could still be true. Like he was part of the network. He went to the police early on to say, hey, I was out there, and the police created a file. It is startling that that's something they didn't look at early on more thoroughly. Maybe they did, and it just didn't lead somewhere. And when they went back to take another look at it, this guy that inserted himself at the scene, pretty crazy. Here, I'm going to let me finish playing this one.
Basically, Rick Allen came back on the radar after somebody connected to the Delphi investigation was going through old tips, came upon some sort of file or documentation regarding Rick Allen.
Recording
and
in progress.
Basically
Recording
looked
stopped.
at it and thought that it needed a second look.
And that second look was given, and that started the chain of events that ultimately led to the arrest of Rick Allen.
Basically, Rick Allen came back on the radar after somebody connected to the Delphi investigation was going through old tips, came upon a tip.
I wonder if it was like a tip from somebody, or literally he's the tip. Like, he's the one that came forward and said, hey, I was there, I mean, this is nuts to me. So hold on, I'm going to make it so the phone lines are open. Just a second. That's the wrong number that's on there. So hold on, if anybody wants to call in on this, because this does add a little bit more, a little different context to everything, because now that stuff apparently is confirmed. All right, and thank you up there to Jay. Thank you very much. And Mark, thank you. All right. Okay, so the lines are open right now if you want to call in about that. Let me get to the... I'm going to play the first one again, though.
Very cordial, but I remembered what pulled me to his name tag was his voice. When he talked, it was slow, but not stupid, if that makes sense.
Ginger snaps.
There was no excitement with the way that he talked.
Come on, that was
So when he
good.
spoke to me that day, and I was
Ginger
just looking
snaps.
down at my shit on the counter, I was like, that sounds really familiar. We asked Amanda if she thought his voice sounded like the voice recorded on Libby's phone. She said that she did not want to speculate too much, but that it was close, and when she listened to it again with all of this in mind, it gave her chills. So let's take a...
No. We don't know if it stemmed from a theft or anything like that, Tracy. That's just total bullshit rumor there. This doesn't sound like that at all. He came forward to law enforcement, and, he inserted himself into the case early on, even telling them that he was there during the crime, right? The whole thing about this theft, I mean, maybe, there may be some truth to it at all, but we just, there's absolutely no corroboration on that at all. It's just pure wild crap on the internet. I think that's what you're saying anyways. New viewers by being YouTube hall monitor. Jeez. Hey, Amber's a good moderator. The truth, whatever the hell you want to call yourself. Yeah. So, yeah, you're not gonna last long if you're bitching and complaining. Usually, I mean, sometimes we do remove comments a little too early, but we don't do the wild speculation on here and things like that. Okay, we just don't do it.
Moment to jump back to our interview with Gabriella, one of Rick's former...
I mean, we speculate here, but it's usually based on stuff that we're looking at.
...classmates at North Miami High School.
Yes, because Amanda there just took us up to 2016, 2017, and Gabrielle can tell us a little bit more.
He was interviewed after the murders happened. Police did interview him, and I got that through his wife telling mutual friends that happened. She played it off more like he was just part of the community and they were interviewing everybody in the community. And that's why he was interviewed right away. But I don't know if there was more than that.
Actually, the story that his wife told people wasn't quite true. Russ McQuaid of Channel 59 here in Indianapolis reported that actually Alan went to the police himself and identified himself as someone who was at the trails at roughly the time of the murders. So naturally, police at that time were interested in talking to him for whatever reasons. Maybe this is...
Yeah, I mean, that's such a big deal, that he came forward to the police and said, I was at the trails during the time of the murders. And I wondered, did they ask, are you this guy, and show him the picture? Because I think he would have said, yeah, that's me. I was just kind of out hiking. I think he would have said that. And they would have known immediately. I mean, literally that same day, he would have admitted that it was him. Because he'd look just like that, probably. And maybe he shaved, too. Then they'd look at his face and go, well, you're clean shaven. Looks like you just did that. And then you could ask around, and does he normally have a goatee? You know, I don't know, man. I'm not trying to do the hindsight thing, but that just feels like something that if he did do that, that would have been a red flag early on for somebody to really dig hard into a person admitting. We've seen other cases like that. Remember that one case where there was that weirdo that killed a girl and then like put her in a dumpster, and he's standing out talking to the police, talking about, oh God, she was so great and everything. And then he ends up being the one that killed her. Well, I know what Connor's referring to. So the comment that was removed, we don't put other channels' names in here, but Connor McGregor up there, the not real Connor McGregor, he mentioned the channel. Yeah, they're an absolute embarrassment. They're the ones that attack Kelsey and Becky and all of them all the time. Just absolute joke of a YouTube channel. But I don't really know. You know, I'm not into getting people's names and doxing and having people go after people. It's just don't watch them. Let them know how shitty what they do is. All right. So let me get this call over here. All right, 445, you're on. Got to turn off your audio in the background. You there?
Great.
Hey,
yeah.
Who's this?
What's up, Ray? How you doing?
Hey, pretty good.
Yeah, I'm Brian C.
Okay, what's going on?
Yeah, I just want to see what's the latest with the Delphi case. I think it's the lone wolf. Here's what I think happened. I think the Keegan Kline character was trying to catfish them there to kill them or whatever. And that guy that got arrested, Richard Allen, was just there that day, and he killed them by himself. Just him. That's
Wait. You think that there was two people that were going to be trying to kill them the same day? Just randomly?
No, I going there to. I don't know if he was going to kill. I don't know what he had in his. But I think that this character, Richard Allen, killed two innocent girls by himself. That the lone wolf.
I think he definitely is the one who killed them. But is he all by himself without a connection between the Richard Allen or any of those guys?
Yeah. Well, what's your theory?
Well, I mean, I made a video of the theory when you're putting together all the elements of the different things. But, did you want my answer? Or
you did last night. Yeah.
Did you want my answer or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. My theory was that if you want to throw this in here, I've already said my other theory, but the other theory that we've talked about is that maybe Kagan is sort of setting up these individuals for other people to meet up with, but they just don't have any connection. That makes great sense. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. But then but it's weird too because we still have the element with the Marathon gas station search, which is right by Richard Allen's house. So did they meet that day still? I mean, all the things could still be.
It just has so many obstacles. It just boggles your mind sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's why I truly believe it was the lone wolf. That guy, Keegan Kline was supposed to meet them girls, and I believe he did not meet them girls, and that guy, Richard Allen, killed them two innocent girls alone that day himself. That's what I believe.
Yeah, I think I always thought that Richard Allen was the only one that killed them, but I'm thinking that maybe Kagan was a getaway driver. Hello?
Yeah. You've been following this case from day one. You said it was somebody that lived in the neighborhood, that it could blend into society, and you were accurate on that. And I think you were accurate, and I think you're going to end up being right. I think this Richard Allen guy was that. I think Keegan Kline, who had the trial porn stuff, and I don't know why like they're like prolonging his case and the search. It just, well, when more information comes out, then we'll know more. But it's just that's what I think right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll figure out what happened. All right. So have a thanks for calling in.
Then now all we got to do is wait and see, and I'll let you get to the next call. Okay. Have a good night, Greg.
You too. Bye bye. Yeah, I think that you got the search over here, so I guess it could still be true that there's a connection there. I mean, I don't really, to be honest with you, when you think, it just makes it sound like they found him. I don't know. I mean, it could be that a name popped up in the investigation with Kagan, and then that led them to look back through their notes and realize, oh my God, this guy is somebody that said that he was even at the bridge that day. Holy crap. And they went back into and looked like that. So everything could still be the way, the theory that Kagan came and drove and picked him up and all that stuff. But I don't know. It seems like it's heading more into the just some random guy theory just based off of that. But 717.
Yes. Hi.
Yeah, hello.
My name's Jeff.
Hello, Jeff. You got to turn down the audio in the background.
Let me turn this down. Hang on a second. I'm watching you. Or I'm talking to you. So, what I wanted to bring up is I was watching I think it was from last night, your episode. And there was a lady that called in, and it was kind of confusing at first, I guess, but you guys got the hang of what she was trying to say with the Wayback Time Machine.
Yeah, we figured out what she was saying. It wasn't going to work because you have to put in a code, the actual number for the case to have it populate. So you'd have to have the Wayback Machine would have to have an automation, like a code that would actually take every single prisoner, load it in, then scrape that page, and then do that over and over again, like once a week or something, to have something.
Okay, so let me ask you this thing, because I'm not 100% familiar with how it all works. Some of the dates were going back to like May 2nd, I think, and then there was some June dates, I think like the 17th, maybe the 6th. Was that information that would have been entered specifically about him, or is that information had been entered about anybody?
Well, all it means, the Wayback Machine, all that is it actually just scrapes the internet all the time, all the pages that are public pages, and scrapes those. Okay. And then so if someday somebody deletes them, you can go on the Wayback Machine and still see those. And in this case, those pages don't really exist. They exist once you put in the case number, because it searches the database and then populates something. So those aren't going to be captured by the Wayback Machine. It wouldn't be able to do it. So, while it was interesting to have a couple dates in there that matched up and everything, it doesn't mean, that just means that's the date it last scraped that site.
I got you.
Yeah. And it could have just been the main page, like the home page, because other than that, all the pages that you click on, that just goes to a page. But once you start entering in the case number, they wouldn't have the ability to scrape that because they don't exist.
Okay.
They only exist because you typed in a case number and then it populates a field like a database, so it wouldn't have it readily available. So, anyways,
I got you. I think I was kind of under the impression that maybe like the police were entering stuff on those dates.
I think that's what she was. I think that's what she was thinking. But the way it was searched wouldn't necessarily. She did put in the page of his case number, put it in there, but it went way back for years though. Like I was looking at where all the little months and stuff that had the little bubbles on them. It was going back for way longer period. Well, not years, but all the way back to May, and it was like every single day. They didn't have that many hits on that. I don't know how that search actually worked, but it can't work because it's a database search. So anyways, that's all I got for you.
Okay, well, I just have one other thing I wanted to mention.
Uh-huh.
And it's about the lone wolf theory. I guess I was reading in some of the circles that he apparently, I guess, had stole some tools from a neighbor out of their garage.
Yeah, who's saying this though? Yeah, we keep hearing this theory. Where is this? Has this been in a newspaper article?
No, it was on Facebook, one of the Facebook groups.
Yeah. Well, until it makes it to like Fox
It's
59 or something, then I don't believe it. You know, those people just type whatever they want, and then things spread like wildfire. It's amazing. We don't know if that's true or not.
What they were saying was it was actually connected to an interview with a person that was in prison. What they were saying was he was asking questions about how they knew who he was, and what they were saying is that he was caught on the ring cam, person's ring cam, and they turned that over to police investors, and that's how they got the search warrant. Come back and search the property.
Okay.
And they were actually looking at him, but didn't really have a reason or probable cause to.
Was this the person that actually got the ring camera? I mean, it just seems so. I mean, now the story's got more detail in it. You know, I don't know, man. It could be true, you know, and that would be interesting. But we just heard a minute ago that he came up because they looked at an old lead again. But maybe they looked at the old lead because maybe one of the detectives was like, hey, I know that name. So your scenario could be part of it too. And then he looks back, oh my God, he said he was at the trail. Let's use this new charge to look deeper in, and then boom, they found what they needed. All right, so
right, yeah. That's what I was kind of thinking.
Yeah, maybe something.
But that's all I wanted to kind of bring up. So I understand a little bit more about how the Wayback Machine works now. Thanks for.
Yeah, basically the Wayback Machine, all it does is go out and scrape internet pages just that are public, and you know, catalogs them, and then if they disappear, they're still there, the old version of them. So it's kind of a useful thing. Like if there's an old website that's not there anymore currently, but you can still see it on there. So there you go.
Okay.
Well, thanks
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, thanks for calling in.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. 207, you're on. Hello?
Hello. Hi, Greg?
Hello? Yeah, just hold on one second. I get it. What somebody was demonstrated earlier. I don't know what that means, Miss H. All right, go ahead. Who's this that I'm talking to?
Hi, this is Tosh. Hi.
Tosh! Hey! What's going on? You got
Hi, the other Tosh.
You got the wow, just wow mug, right?
Yes. Very excited about that.
Yeah.
So I think that this has probably already been said in different ways, but I did hearing you talk again about, you know, the new information seeming to support Lone Wolf. I do wonder if Keegan knew of Alan from running in these same kinds of circles as a purveyor of the CSAM material. And so as he's trying to cut a deal, like maybe that's part of how they came to be connected.
Yeah, that's kind of that's what I think. Sort of Matt fits in still with my theory that I put out. It's just a theory. I'm not married to any of these theories. It's just like that one I tried to put together based on all the other information, and that would still work with that. You know?
Right. Yeah.
But they're like,
yeah.
And then his name pops up, and then they find his name in the early investigation. You know, maybe that's how it worked.
Right.
I mean, I don't know, because they sound like they just stumbled upon it, though. You know, recently. But was that because of him, though? Maybe Kagan said something that made them look at that. Maybe that's the real reason they stumbled upon it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if that could be it. And then if he's already in the file, you know, it seems like it would be a pretty standard thing as cases get older for somebody to go back and look at old people that they cleared and things like that, and like make sure they're not missing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, so I had just wanted to kind of contribute that for whatever it's worth, and to just thank you for always keeping the focus where it should be, and having the zero tolerance policy for lunacy. I appreciate it.
It caused me a lot of problems. People,
well, it's
you're
also
so
very
mean.
much appreciated.
Yeah. I mean, are there people? I hope most people that really like true crime, that are rational thinkers, don't mind me doing that, even though you think, oh, it's rude or whatever. But I don't know. There's really no other way to do it, right? I mean, like, what do you say to somebody?
Well, because I don't think people would respond to much else other than that, which is why I appreciate it so much. Because sometimes when you try to like allow for it, then it just becomes more and more crazy. And I thought it was nuts that people were saying that you were rude yesterday, because listening to you talk to the caller who was trying to explain her theory about the Wayback Machine, like that was the opposite of rude, So I don't know. It's like taking the time to like figure out what was going on and what did she have to say, and then like. Yeah.
Well, she presents stuff sometimes sort of in a disorganized way, but I need it to be like ding, ding, ding. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, once we got it all dialed in and we started over again, we went right to where we needed to be. Right? So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I'll let you go.
Well, let me just say, throw this out. But no, I appreciate all your support and everything in here, too. Very nice of you. But I was also going to say...
Yeah, no, I was happy to do.
Oh, well, thanks. I was also going to say, do you think... people seem to think, people even type it in, but they always go, I can't have my opinion if it's different than yours. No, you can have a different opinion than mine. I'm just going to see it, and I might say, God, that's ridiculous. I might say that if I can tell that you didn't include any facts there there are facts out there that would have excluded half the stuff that you said. I'm going to say something, and they go, God, you're so mean. Gray doesn't let anybody. No, I do let you. You get it? I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's like people can have their opinion, but if it's not based on anything, then you can also say, hey, that's not based on anything. That's just bullshit. So,
yeah, right, exactly, and that's probably what I would say. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Well, I don't think that that's rude or mean, and I really appreciate it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Tosh.
Okay.
Not the other
so
Tosh, but you were one. Okay. Yeah. See you later. Bye bye. Hey, where is Sack and Fox Nanny? She missed the birthday song at the end. Gray sang me happy birthday last year, short of insulting my aunt. I don't know what that means, Tracy. Jesus, that seems like people half the time they pipe in passive aggressive sort of. Hey, thanks, Apocalypse Frau. All right, let me get to the. Got more callers. 903, you're on.
Hello, Gray.
Hello, how's it going?
Hey, Gray, it's Brad from Texas. How you doing?
Brad from Texas. What's going on, Brad?
Hey, man, it's been a while. I thought you forgot about me, so I figured I'd call in.
No, I remember you now. Yeah.
Hey, well, good. Hey,
don't you sing?
I just had two quick things.
Don't you? Are you a singer? I can't remember.
Oh no.
You're not a singer.
I'm a singer in the shower. That's about it.
Oh, come on. Anybody from Texas, you can do the country music. All right.
Hey, that's right. Hey, real quick, I just had two quick questions for you. I know you're busy tonight. So the first thing is about the DNA. We had heard that there was a low profile of DNA. I wonder why they couldn't use the DNA on Richard Allen when he was, spoken to by law enforcement.
Well, he wasn't compelled to give his DNA at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if DNA is a big part of this case. Everybody wants that to be, but Maybe DNA has something to do with some fiber from an animal or something, but like I said before, one of the kind of inside information people that we had a long time ago, he's even been on here. He said that the DNA was just touch DNA off of the shoulder of a sweatshirt, and that was just so little. But however, that was in 2017, and now the ability to extract DNA from things is way higher. So I wonder if they've been able to, revisit some of that, and maybe now they can test it to different people. I don't know. But.
Right, that's right. Either way, somehow they got it locked down pretty close, or I hope they do. So
yeah, it seems like it.
And then the second thing is he's talking about the lady that went into the store and talked to Richard Allen, and they was asking about the voice. I was watching something not too long ago, and it made me think about this case. How when someone is afraid or has high adrenaline, their voice changes, and not that it changes completely, but it goes to another octave. And I just thought it kind of hit me, and I kind of thought about this case, maybe why people couldn't, or match the voices, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, one of the friends from, the thing is, when you got the audio, guys down the hill with all this kind of stuff, and it's been processed a few times,
cleaned up.
and it doesn't sound. You can definitely hear how cable snaps and down the hill. There's a similarity in the cadence and just sort of the general voice sound, except for the one on the gondola is way clearer because it was recorded very close to the person on a phone without a whole bunch of background crunching and sound, and the phone maybe wasn't in a pocket or something. So that's all I got. You still there?
That's probably what it is. There's probably been so much cleanup on it that the voice may not sound the same at all. All right, great. Well, hey man, I've been wanting to call in for a while, and hey, I listened to your other stuff too, but I would probably sound like that caller last night that called in and couldn't get anything out if I called you on the other cases. So, but I'm watching your other stuff too.
It's okay. But the what was it? The voice, the thing is the friend or the person that knew him from a long time ago and then recently saw him again, or like a few years back, when the voice was played for her, she was like, oh yeah, wow, that does sound like him. But, of course, it's going to sound like him now. I mean, that's the thing, because now you know that the guy was arrested. You say, hey, does this sound like him? Oh my God, yeah. But what if I had played the audio?
Exactly.
Does this sound like anybody you know? Would she have said, oh my God, that sounds like this guy I went to school with named Richard Allen? I doubt it. So.
Right. All right, great. Well, hey, I know you got many other calls lined up. Appreciate your time. Keep doing what you do, and we'll talk to you later. Take care.
All right, Brad. Hey, thanks for calling in. Good to hear from you.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, we got some 6141. Okay, I think it must be international or something. Who's this?
Yeah, that's me. G'day, Gray. How you going, mate?
Pretty good.
So the one thing I wanted to speak to you about is I'll play a bit of devil's advocate about the whole, could it be possible with so much coincidence that Keegan Kline wasn't involved in the Delphi murders? Mm-hmm. And I just want to put this out there. I've been thinking about the same thing too, and I'm kind of playing it in my head that if that Keegan Kline guy was I think they've got him for 50 counts or something. So does that mean that he had 50 different girls, explicit images that they can get him for, whatever?
I don't know if it means that, but each count could have multiple charges. Each person, just soliciting a minor and then maybe obtaining, I'm not sure what the words are, but child pornography, SAM material, that kind of thing. Maybe there's a few different things.
Yeah, so it could be one person with 2 or 3 charges for that particular person.
And then and there could be even some people. There could be some people they didn't even know who they were in the images, so they really couldn't tell how verify the age and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that I've heard someone say that's probably why they dropped some charges, because like we can't prove that person is, you know. But what I was gonna say is, if he got, let's just say, we're spitballing numbers. Let's say he got 20 or 30 people to send him nudes. How many out of how many people would you have to message? How many girls would you have to message on Instagram? You know, let's just say 1 out of 10, and I think I'm being pretty conservative there. Actually carried out the request to send naked images. That means this guy could have been in touch with hundreds of girls, probably more, on Instagram. So it wouldn't be it would still be a massive coincidence, but if you're contacting like hundreds of girls that are, you know, that age group, and one of them winds up, you know, dead from a killer, you know, I don't know if that's enough to say definitively it's definitely, you know, where we can say it's too much of a coincidence for it to be, for them to not be related. I think there's, you know, he kind of spread so thin that, you know, it could be a very unlikely coincidence, but I don't know.
Well, right,
that's
yeah,
just
I mean,
kind of what
well,
I'm
it could be.
about.
That's why we say. I mean, it's like there's a possibility that he just did this all by himself, because there's so many predators out there. But when you consider, you know, but for the fact that they were murdered by a random killer, Kagan Klein didn't get to meet up with Libby, another predator. I mean, man, that is like one hell of a shitty day, and, you know, unlucky day there. I mean, you have two wackos.
And if it turns out to be coincidence, it's kind of alarming that there are so many child predators out there that one girl can cross the paths of two of them at the same time. So that would be alarming.
Well,
definitely.
yeah, that would be almost so shocking that you'd want to like do shows just on that alone. I mean, it's crazy. Well, the thing is, there really are. Like there's that show, the PCI Predator Hunter, and every single night they meet up with another. You know, they lure a guy in there, so they pretend they're 13 years old or something, and then there's a 50-year-old guy showing up, and there's like hundreds and hundreds of these people, and they must have been successful on other attempts, or they wouldn't have. You know, it's not like that's their first time.
They wouldn't keep doing it.
Yeah.
And they know those sting operations are out there, so they're willing to take that risk too. So yeah.
Yeah. They're that desperate.
The other thing I was going to bring up real quick is have you seen that Wikipedia article edit from 2020 on the Delphi motor case? Have you looked into that at all?
Wikipedia? You mean just the regular Wikipedia on it?
Yeah. So their Wikipedia page, I've actually got the edit up on my screen. The Murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German Wikipedia page had an edit back in March 2020 by a random user. So you know how on Wikipedia you can log in and edit as yourself, or you can just jump on a public computer somewhere and edit, and it won't. You know, it's like an unknown person. An unknown person, and all I've got is the IP address, changed the name of Bridge Guy to Richard, like in the caption. So we're talking about coincidences.
Well, yeah, but that's part of that. There was something on Reddit where everybody was calling him Richard. Yeah, I don't know. They were just calling him Richard, but I don't know if that was. It is kind of, that was interesting. I went over that on a show actually, because it was kind of strange. Okay. But I don't know. You know, it's one of those things I don't normally do, but it seemed like it was interesting enough that people were calling him Richard, and then the guy backtracked. He said, "Oh no, I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say something else. You know, Richly or something. You know." And it's like, come on, no, that's not what you were saying. But
yeah, well, someone renamed the name of that sketch, the first Bridge Guy sketch, which is on that Wikipedia page. Someone renamed the word suspect, like they edited suspect and changed it to Richard, so that the total caption said this is a updated sketch of Richard.
So are you looking at one of the updates? I mean, you can go back and look at the historical updates on Wiki.
I can link you. Yeah, I can link you the actual edit where it shows you, you know, on the 22nd of March at this time, the Wikipedia page said suspect, and on the 22nd of March at this time, a bit later, someone had updated it from suspect to Richard. And then I think someone who thought it was a malicious edit changed it back because they were like, you can't give this guy a name. He's an unknown suspect. So I just think it's okay. Out of all names for someone to troll a Wikipedia page to put the correct, or maybe not the correct, but the suspect name in, we're talking 2 years ago. And I'm wondering if it's someone like that person that said that they walked into the CVS and heard his voice. I wonder if someone was kind of like, man, that sounds like Richard Allen. And I don't know, almost like throwing a clue. I don't know, like, I can't figure out. That edit really spooks me. Like, how did someone guess his name 2 years ago?
Well, did you ever read the Reddit stuff on that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, that's even more.
Is there a Reddit? Which page is it on?
I'm not really sure. It was sent to, but that's where it's interesting because the person
I'll have to dig it up.
made it sound. I mean, they put his name and then somebody questioned him and he almost felt like, oh, he wasn't supposed to say that type of thing. But anyways, what is your name, by the way? You didn't say what it was.
My name's Nick.
Nick? I mean, do you ever chat?
Yeah, Nick.
Chat?
Like.
Okay.
Yeah, you and I were talking about that. What's that girl that was murdered, and you were saying, she could be connected to the. Let me get her name for that. I don't know. Ted Bundy. It was like one of Ted Bundy's victims, like suspected victims, the Vicky Lynn Holler. And I actually did some more looking into that too. And Ted Bundy stole a Beetle, and when he was arrested, he was arrested sitting in a Volkswagen Beetle that he had stolen. So I'm wondering now if Ted Bundy, and you and I were talking about that on
Well, I was just talking about it on the show.
Chat,
I was just guessing what it was. I wasn't talking. I don't remember talking.
So I
to
reckon
you
maybe
about
Ted Bundy had like an affinity with Beetles or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's what he was driving around when they caught him. But obviously, might not have been.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe the Beetle is what he. If he got Holler and that's missing. I mean, did he drive it around for a little bit and then dump it somewhere and then go, "Hey, I like those Beetles," and then he stole another one or something. I mean, who knows?
Yeah. I think you'll be onto something with that.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, are you in Australia?
Good to talk to you. Yeah, I'm from Australia. Yeah.
Which area? I mean, you got people in the chat that are from there. So they're gonna want to know.
Oh yeah, I'm from like the Illawarra area, so like 2 hours south of Sydney. So.
Oh, I lived in Melbourne for like I don't know 3 months one summer. My dad was on a sabbatical.
Oh really?
It was 1980. I think 1980 when, and I have the first set of Ugg boots. Like that's when they were invented, and I have like these ones that go up to my almost my knee. They look kind of dumb, but they're comfortable.
Yeah, Milton's like I'm going to Milton today for a wedding, so yeah, that's really near where I live.
Yeah,
about an hour away.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, yeah, I appreciate you calling in. Have a good one.
Thanks for taking my call. Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right. See you, Nick. Okay. 520. You're on.
Hey.
Hello, who's this?
Hey, Greg. Hi, my name's Penny.
Penny, what's going on?
Yeah. Hi. So, I believe there was more than one person involved. This is just too much of a serious case. Okay, so go with me here. But I have a speculation that the girls might have been taken elsewhere close by for the assault and then brought back to the murder location.
No, they don't think. I mean, law enforcement doesn't even think that.
And you know that, so I didn't. So how?
What made you think that though?
Well, because I've been following this, and it's too.
For how long?
Since the beginning, actually. But the area is populated. People come around. If these girls were being brutally murdered, where they were. There could have been.
Yeah, but yeah, the
good
wind was
chance
blowing
that
the
they
wrong.
would've-
Well, the wind was blowing the other way. You got the creek making noises. It's a little higher, so it's a little louder. They were found like 100 and. Let me see. I almost have it right here. Just a second. I think it was. Let me get the yards. Yeah, it was like 180 yards from where they were made to go down the hill. I doubt that they were made to go down the hill, taken somewhere far away, and then taken all the way back to right where they were going down the hill. That's a lot of motion and moving around, and you'd have to, like, I mean, where do you think that, in your theory, where were they killed?
I don't know. They were taken somewhere else and then brought back.
Okay, but they were killed at
I
the
don't
crime
know.
scene, so it just, that's where they said that they were killed, but they were moved from the area that they were killed a little bit to
Yeah,
the,
because Richard Allen did. I don't know. I also heard that there was. He didn't. I don't know where I heard this either. And here, this is just people throwing stuff out there. That where was the blood evidence on him?
yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, you could have had an extra something underneath the jacket there, and or maybe he had the jacket on and then he just sort of turned the jacket inside out and walked out of there. I mean, we don't really know that element of it. He could have gone into the creek and washed some of the blood off of himself, or he could have got lucky as well. Like people say, you have to be covered in blood if you cut somebody, if you cut an artery in the neck, but it's not necessarily true.
Not true. I mean,
Yeah.
have you seen Dexter?
Well, I mean, I have watched the show, but I'm not sure if that. But I'm just saying, if you're
Well,
if you're in a
no.
different position, you might not get hit
But if
by it.
if you have protective, like raincoat protection or whatever, I don't want to get graphic.
Yeah,
But yeah, I guess you could. So you
Right.
think that theory is very far-fetched, that the girls were
Yeah, I do.
never,
I think that's like
they
almost.
were there the entire time?
Yeah,
you think?
well, they know that because they actually said that they were murdered by 3:30, and that the killer was still at the scene for at least 20 minutes of the time. So there wouldn't really be any time to do what you're saying, because they were taken down
okay.
at like 2:20 and they were killed by 3:30. So the, people out there go, oh, there's no way of telling what they were doing, but they already know what time that they were dead. I mean, so. They said that they were dead by 3:30, and the killer was there for at least 20 minutes of the time that Derek was there as well, and then he disappeared.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Derek got there.
All right.
Derek got there at 3:15, so the killer was there till at least 3:35, which is crazy. I mean, so that means you got the 3:30. He gets out. Did he walk down the road that's out by the cemetery to get somewhere, or did he head on back across the creek where he could wash himself off a little bit too? But I think that'd be really, well, here's the thing, that doesn't make any sense. So I just realized something, you guys, where I should get a boom for it. He wouldn't have been able to cross back the creek without being seen. Very unlikely, because at that time at like 3:15 to 3:20, that's when there's people on the bridge, like Cheyenne was taking photographs and all those kind of things. So he wouldn't be able to do that without being seen, likely. I mean, obviously you can sneak around and do whatever you're doing. So it seems more likely he went out through the cemetery. I actually forgot all about that there was people walking around.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay. That's what I was, that's what I was thinking, but you answered my question.
And I think he might have even, well, we don't know what the original plan was, but while he's at the crime scene, the wind was blowing directly from the bridge to the crime scene. So he could hear anybody if they were just talking up there about something. So he might have went, oh, crap, and then he walks out through the cemetery or something, the other direction. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he wouldn't want to be near them, but he might have also waited around, I guess. But I don't know. Law enforcement seems to believe that he was there for at least 20 minutes of the time Derek was there. How do they know that? Did they see him on a camera down the road? Who knows? Yeah.
So let me, you're asking everyone what they think about it. Was he a lone wolf? What do you think?
Well, that's the thing is, I for 5 years I said this guy was a serial killer-like person who lived in society, blended in, had a wife and kids, and lives within 15, 20 miles or something like that. And but now this information sort of gives more credibility that we just got from the murder sheet of a lone wolf, but it also doesn't really it doesn't actually change anything of the other theories, because all it means is that yes, we know that Richard Allen came forward early on to tell police, oh, I was there at the crime scene near that same time and everything. He did that regardless. He would have done that because he lives there, and he wanted to sort of come forward. It looked like he's helping. So of course he can't be the killer. So he would have done that regardless if he was part of the ring, right? So if he was part of the ring and he was contacted and said, hey, meet somebody over there, he could still do all of the same stuff and still would have acted exactly the same because he lives in the community. So not really sure.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, this is boggling.
That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for your time. Appreciate you taking my call.
Well, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
Gray, you're so mean. What was the... Yeah. But even if they were alive and the blood sprayed out, you don't necessarily... If you're not in the way of it, it's not going to be all over you. It might get on your hands and so forth if you're... just, you know how it works, everybody. I don't want to... It's kind of disturbing to even be talking about the topic, given it's Abby and Libby, but we know that from the Logan document, right? Like, the Logan document had it all in there. All right, 727, you're on. Thanks, Kim Berger.
Hey, Gray, how you doing?
Hey, pretty good. How you doing? Who's this?
This is Jerry. I spoke to you a few times on this case. I think the case in New York with the girl that was killed by the handyman, stuff in the suitcase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I remember.
Anyway.
There's so many cases now. It's like, I got like 1,000 cases that I've covered.
Yeah, I just wanted to call a set son.
I remember. Yeah, wait, hold on. Not to interrupt you, but now I remember. That's the one we just did an update recently, and you called in maybe about he went through the woods or something. Was that you? Like, weren't we talking about like how he escaped the guy because he was carrying her body in the bag? Right?
Yeah, right. I'm from New York. And I said something about how people go to the city and take trains back into their homes. They don't drive. Something like that. Anyway, hey, real quick, in the pictures of the bridge of Rich Allen coming on the bridge, does he have gloves on?
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't. The reason I was saying that, and I heard another guy talk about DNA, since he's never been arrested before, I was wondering, now maybe, the DNA to this case, but, if he's never been arrested before, and a lot of people originally thought this could be a serial killer, I wonder if his DNA will catch him with somebody else's cases that have been unsolved.
Maybe. People that do what he does, I don't know what the statistics are on people that murder like a serial killer. How many of them are just one-time actors, like the John D. Miller, or do most of them repeat themselves? We don't really know.
Right. The fact that they're saying he staged some stuff. I did hear you talk earlier about the murder podcast. I made some new comments about, how he got found, or maybe how he got found from an old tip. And, it's so funny. When I called you a week or two ago, I said to you I didn't think Keegan Bradley was involved. Keegan Kline was involved. And I probably still don't think he was involved. But I just can't believe this guy did all this by himself.
Yeah, well, the thing is the only thing, if he did it by himself, if you don't think he did it by himself, then the only next logical thing would be something to do with the Klein, since he was man, remember the whole Wabash River search? He's still cutting a deal with prosecutors. They've interviewed him many, many times in the Delphi case. You know, when they went to the house, did they uncover anything that showed that, wow, he had access to the same Dropbox or something, you know?
Right.
I mean, that would be really interesting. We just don't know right now. I mean, is this just totally this one-off killer? But I mean, it is interesting because when Murdersheet says they confirmed something, then that means that they did confirm it. Okay, it's not like they're speculating on something. That means they talked to one person and then another and then got that information. So, I mean, my thing is, you know, whether you like the Murdersheet or not, that you can trust that, you know, when they say they confirmed something, that they did do that. Okay, so
they do their due diligence, no doubt about it. You know, they look through documents over and over. You know, speaking of that, I remember when they released the document on, I think it was Ron Logan's search warrant. Didn't they say? I thought I read somewhere where they said the crime scene was tampered with. I think the FBI agent had said that. So when they say a crime scene was tampered with, you would assume beside the person who committed the crimes, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're saying, well, the crime scene is tampered with. It means that the person that, you know, usually that committed the crime, he's moving things around, and maybe that you could say that even with moving and staging the girls, that was tampering with the crime scene.
Yeah, because when I hear tampered with, I'm thinking somebody else tampered with. I could be wrong. Maybe I just misheard the way it was said. I think the FBI agent said that. You know, and they also, I do remember them saying that after talking to the ISP police, that they actually redacted some of the documents out of that search warrant.
Yeah. Well, I think it can be anybody who
thing.
tampers. I mean, I think if a civilian tampered with a crime scene, then they'd be in trouble for that. You know, like,
I mean, like even somebody searching for the body.
I guess in Debbie Collier, was it tampering with the crime scene when these people go down to where she died and there's still gloves and everything sitting around? If they had grabbed a glove, was that tampering when you guys left it like that the whole time? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the other thing I was going to say, like, and I'm not sure how Delphi, Indiana is as far as like the size of the place. I remember you saying, they just interviewed every man in there. You know, I forgot the number you had, whether it was 1,000, 1,500, but like how many white men that height around that age, you know, you could probably cut that number in half. It's still hard to believe, like they interviewed this guy.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this really early on. Like,
himself.
Right, like if you had 3,000 people in the town, we talked about this years ago. 3,000 people in the town, you know, and then you go like, that would make 1,500 males maybe. And then early on, they thought he was, I think, 35 to 45. I don't know if that was it, but I think it was way older than the 18 to 40 that they had second. But at that time, you could probably then narrow it down to like, gosh, I don't know. I mean, people over the age of 45 would probably be like a couple hundred maybe, you know, like 300.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
You know what? I think when we hear the evidence, I hope it doesn't make them look too, what's the word? Like they missed it and they should have caught it. Like you said, it's amazing that this guy didn't get caught a lot sooner, especially him saying he was there. Well, that
would put somebody really high up on a list for me. Like, I mean, just about all the cases we've covered, and those people, the guy that they inject themselves into the case, they should make you really suspicious at that point. You know, especially when a person says, "I was there during that time," and I just wonder where was he asked, "Is that you on the bridge?" Because he might have said yes at the time. You know, he might have actually said yes because early on it was just the photo release, remember? And they said, we want to talk to this person. Right? He might have said, oh yeah, that was me. Yeah, that was me when I was hiking out there. I don't know who took the photo or whatever, but he wouldn't have realized that there was a whole video and they would have just arrested him right then. So.
Yeah, and you know what? It makes me wonder that how much experience he might have. Because even talking to the police, man, I'm not a pathological liar and I'm not a serial killer, but I still think like having cops ask you questions about something that you did and you could sit there with a straight face and come off like you didn't do it. I don't know how people do that. I guess they do. You know, I was thinking about when I was a kid, I used to hang out in the park with a couple of friends of mine, like 15 years old, like 3, 4 guys, 3, 4 girls, and we used to get high in the park. And we used to always see a guy or two in the back of the bushes, like masturbating and stuff. We used to throw bottles at him and stuff like that. And I was thinking about this park, or whatever you want to call this, like a hiking trail. I wonder if, like, guys like this Richard Allen or whoever else, you know, Caden Klein, go to places like this and snoop around and look for whatever's there. You know what I mean? Whether it's a young couple or 2 girls.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the original thing was that I thought. I mean, I've said this 100,000 times until the Klein stuff, and that necessarily has to make everybody change what they're thinking. And if people say, "Oh no, I never thought it," I mean, at the time, I just can't believe you're telling the truth. I mean, when they came out with Kagan Klein and all that information, and that there's a catfishing account, if you're still thinking, I don't think they're related at that moment, then there's something wrong with your thinking. Okay, it really is. So that there's no logic for somebody to say that the catfishing account was communicating with the girls at 8 in the morning, and then even said that they were supposed to meet up with them, but they didn't show up. But they're not related. I think there's no logic for anybody to have said, "Oh, I don't think they're connected" at that time. Okay, it just it's way more likely. So it would just be pure guessing. But I've always said that you know, this guy, he was a guy that fit into the community. He has a wife, kids, all that kind of stuff. Blends right in. Hides in plain sight, just like a Dennis Radar type. He's a serial killer like person, and that on that day he sat there, and that's one of the things that has always been a strong element, that he was there by himself. I mean, he was there completely rogue. It has nothing to do with the Klein. Would be that he the fact that the girls were there and there wasn't another soul in the entire park when there had been a whole bunch of people there that day. It almost seems like he sat around and waited for the right opportunity for whoever it was, a single woman, 2 girls, whatever it was, that fell right into that trap where they were all alone, and he knew there was nobody in front of them, and he knew nobody was in back of them, and he waited and kept following from a distance. And when they made it, they got onto the bridge and isolated themselves. That's when he started to go across. Then the girls, seeing him coming, didn't want to pass him because it's so narrow. They went all the way to the end, hoping this person would just turn around, and that never happened. He kept coming at him, and she knew, turned spider senses, turned on her phone, and started filming the person. That's what I've always said for, I would say, for 5 years. I said that same thing.
Yeah, you know what?
It could come back to be the truth.
Yeah. You know, when I see the 2 girls, they seem so young, and like in my head, I'm thinking they're like young. And let me ask you a question: when the guy walks up to him, and says "girls down the hill," you think at that point he was already in his mind he was going to kill them?
What was that? Say that again. I missed it.
It said when he told the girls down the hill, do you think his intention at that point was to kill them?
Yeah. I think he went there to kill them. That's why he had a gun, and he brought a knife with him. Why did he bring a knife with him if he didn't want to kill him? I mean, the guy brought things to kill people.
Threaten, keep them from running.
Okay, but he had a knife, so he had the gun to already threaten them, right? So why do you need the knife with him? He just always carries that. No, he was there to kill that day. You know, looked like he had other stuff underneath the jacket. Maybe it was kind of bulky. You know, I don't know. What do you
You may be right. I'll tell you what, I'm going to get off the phone. I got other people to talk to, but I will say that if he did kill them, like if it was his intention to kill them, then he killed other people. Like, you're going to find that this guy, this is not a one and done thing, that you're going to see he'll be connected to other cases.
Yeah,
I do appreciate what you do. You do a great job, by the way, and God bless you for putting up with us.
well, thanks. But here's the thing. I'll say that. I mean, we don't know, even if he did kill them. Like I said, April Tinsley was killed by John Miller, and that's the only killing that he ever did. And it was absolutely horrific. I mean, he used little objects on her. She's 8 years old. Used like little wooden sex objects on her. Threw her she's 8 years old. I think he strangled her to death. And then he left the item.
Mentally retarded?
No, I don't think so. Actually, when I was talking to CC Moore at CrimeCon about it, she said he's a lot smarter than he pretends. He plays Roku and all these different, So the thing is he, he taunted the police for years. He had a used sex toys there. Then he put a note on a barn. Then he left notes on bicycles so that was 1990. Then 2006 he left notes on bicycles with used condoms and photographs. And he even told the girls, if you don't tell the police, I'm going to burn your house down. He wanted them to know that he exists. And he never killed anybody but
10
her.
years later,
But that's like a serial killer-like person, right? I mean, but he didn't kill anybody else. So there you go. There's an example. So that does happen.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think like these people, so it just seems so far-fetched that they would take two girls like that.
It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, they need to be put to death. Anyway, thanks for the time, brother.
Yeah, hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, the lone wolf one always made more sense because that's all we had for 5 years. But when you throw in the Kagan Klein stuff and the investigation into that, it's almost mind-boggling to think that there isn't some sort of a connection. That's all I'm saying. It's like, I mean, anything's possible, right? Anyways, thanks for the call. Good one there. I gotta use the restroom really quick, so here we go. Listen to some nice jazz, all right? Occam's razor doesn't have anything to do with whether or not he's a lone killer or not, because now we don't have any idea at this point. Hey, thanks, Tosh. And Cindy Leon. But, like I said, man, whatever the information comes, that's where I'm going to go. We've just been trying to figure out this stuff over the years, and that's it, right? So we have nobody actually knows what's on that probable cause, but that's going to get us right towards the answer in the case. So we shall see. We shall see. Thank you to, hold on a second, to Lillian, this account, Nicole Bennett, it's a house! And Your Gypsy. Oh, well, thank you very much, Your Gypsy. Appreciate it. All right. (816). I don't know what order people are in.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
606.
I can hear you. I don't know what order.
Oh,
It's
okay,
hard to
awesome.
tell
Okay, let me turn this
what order people
computer
are in.
down.
I think
Okay,
it's-
how are you? This is Courtney.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, not a lot. I just jumped on a little bit ago, so I'm not totally sure what all I've missed, but I just wanted to call in because I do think he was not a lone wolf. I think it's part of something bigger. The timing just makes sense with all of the Klein plea deals and then not plea deals and then the river search and all of that. But what really gets me and has confused me since the 2019 presser was that new sketch. And I just kept thinking, who gave them that new sketch and what happened that they were so convinced that was accidentally the person?
Well, because that was the
what made them file away that
that's
sketch?
because the second sketch released was the first one made. It was made 3
Right.
days. It was 3 days after the murders, but they didn't think that looked right, so they went with. They looked at the video and created the sketch that had the beard on it. That's the sole source is the video
Yes.
on the original sketch, and that one is actually
Which is so
closer
wrong.
because it has it has a goatee, but
I-
that's the only thing that makes it close. Both sketches are awful. You know, they go, well, you can kind of see part of it with the, like we've all seen
But
that
here's-
sort of that. It doesn't mean anything.
Yes, no, I agree. This is not being solved from the
People who
sketch,
do the
obviously.
overlays with this, they take a face and do an
Oh, I
overlay with
know.
the sketch should
I-
just be never watched or ever looked at again on YouTube as a serious anything. I mean, you take a sketch and you
because that's
put
not how you're supposed to do
well,
it.
because it's not even it's ludicrous. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
that's not even
you
the
should look
person.
at the nose separator or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. So whoever, I mean, they did obviously make that first sketch in the first couple days. So obviously someone came to them and described somebody that made someone say, hey, we need you to describe that person to our sketch artist because we think there was some kind of red flag that made them say, we don't know who you're talking about. Let's draw that guy. So they had that, and assuming that that's the person who also said he was around her height, so they would have had this guy. I mean, obviously we know they put him taller than he actually was, but they have this on the side. Did they ask her, what was the guy you saw wearing?
Well, I'm
And
sure they
so,
asked. I'm
I
sure
don't
they
know.
asked all those things. But yeah, I think he was 5. He's actually about 5'7" ish. The 5'4" thing. That was what I
So then-
originally thought a long time ago. And then I was told
Yeah.
by Ives. He goes, we think it's a little something different. And then when you look at his actual height, and then I came up with 5'7" when I did it a way better way, where I slid him across and then rotated him and had this whole scale thing at 6'6", because that's how far it is between both rails. I had him at 5'7", but then I said, well, he's probably like 5'9" because he, maybe he's scrunched down in his. But it seems, but
Right.
actually the 5'7" was the correct height.
I think you were dead on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then here's the question is then when Rick or Richard or whoever came in, did they, like you said, did they show him? I don't think they probably must have shown him the video, or did they ask him, what were you wearing that day? And did he say, did he make up some different outfit that he was wearing? Because something that he said to them there made them think, okay, you were just a witness. You
What
don't
if
have
he
anything to do
like
with
shaved
it.
his goatee off, but waited about 3 or 4 days, so it looked sort of like a look that he would always have.
Yeah.
So like, well, you don't really. Okay, we're looking for the guy with the goatee.
Exactly. And so somehow they shelved her sketch and basically said, "Oh, I think they could have possibly said, oh no, I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Rick. That makes sense. She probably saw Rick, and he's not the killer. That was just Rick. He was there walking." And so they put that sketch aside and put her thoughts aside.
But that doesn't even look like. But that doesn't look like Rick though. So that doesn't make any sense. Like I think
you don't think she actually saw Rick?
Well, no, but the younger sketch doesn't look like Rick. Is what I'm saying. Just the eyelid, the eyelid part maybe, but why didn't she say that he had a goatee on? I mean, should have been just sticking out. Maybe he had a scarf over his face, and she could only see his eyes and his nose or something.
Right. Like, could they ask her? So here's the thing: when they're matching up, so they have like their whole list of people that were in the area that day that we don't all have. At least I don't have. How did they not match up? Like, okay, you saw this guy with a white scarf. You're describing that face, but that guy was not wearing a white scarf, or that guy was wearing a red coat. So what I think is they obviously messed up when they came into that 2019 presser. To me, what they were saying is this guy came in and we somehow missed putting it together. And I think another agency, or maybe they just started from the beginning, that somebody went back and said, give me a list of the people at the bridge, give me a list of the witnesses, and now let's make a little map, who saw who, and all of a sudden you're going to have Rick standing out somewhere where he wasn't supposed to be, or where he said he was.
Yeah.
Because I think she saw him. Even if she didn't do a very good
well,
sketch
maybe, yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. I think he knew that he was the guy that they put out in the picture, so he just wanted to say, "Hey, I was out there that day. I just want to let you guys know." Or he did wrong. Or you could be right. I mean, that's what we were saying on the other show, that he walked by somebody, and he thought that maybe they would recognize him because they might have recognized him because he apparently. Well, I don't know if he worked in town. Maybe I think he did at that time. He lived there since 2006. So when he walks, maybe when he's walking out, he walked by somebody and thought, "Oh man, they might have recognized me." So I'll just let him know that I was out there.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel like if he was going to say that was him, I feel like if he would have said that was him, wouldn't they have been like, okay, well, here you must be our guy? If he said, yeah, that's me on the bridge, wouldn't they have said, okay, someone is saying they're them, and then investigated him further? Like, I think he probably said he was in a different area and just wearing something different, but yeah, he knows someone saw him, so he's just going to let them know in case they ask later, were you there, or DNA is found or something, he can say, oh yeah, I was there. But I just think it's sketchy that somehow they disregarded that sketch and that witness, who I really feel like turns out.
Well, we don't know if they disregarded the sketch.
That she saw him.
They just didn't think. Yeah, I don't know, but she didn't put a goatee on him either, and you can see the goatee clearly in the still frame. So they probably were like, that's probably not good. So. To me, the younger sketch looks absolutely nothing like him, other than the eyelid thing. I mean, but that's just not enough for people to get. Yeah. He worked. Here's how crappy the sketch is. He had the sketch up next to his booth at the store, and didn't give a damn. He probably laughed every second of every day, just going, "Oh God, that's me," but that's not me at all. I don't look like that at all. So.
Right.
That's the truth.
That's it. I mean. It's sickening, really. And yeah, I mean, you could be right. She may not have seen him, I guess. Or else she just described a really crappy sketch. I'm just like, did they never show her a picture of him later? Did they show did they photograph the witnesses, just as part of procedure, fill out this information, I'm going to get your photo?
That might have been pretty interesting.
And then show those to be...
Yeah, they could have said, "Hey, did you ever see this guy?"
Yeah, and then show that to her.
Yeah.
Because this whole time, whenever Ellis comes up or Chadwell comes up, I'm like, well, I wonder if they have a witness who they can show that to and say, does this look like the person?
Yep.
Because if she felt like she saw someone well enough to describe a sketch, and then she was shown a photo of someone, probably she would say, oh, yeah, that at least kind of looks like him, or, oh, my God, that's him.
Yep.
So did they never show her a picture?
Well, I don't know. We don't
And
have
then
the
I
answer.
think-
But anyways, we got a whole bunch of people
So,
waiting.
anyway.
What else you got?
Okay,
What else you
okay.
got? What else you got?
All right, that's a...
Did you have anything else?
That's pretty much...
Did you
what
take
was
notes?
my-
Oh wait, I heard paper wrestle. I heard wrestling
no, I have
with
notes.
paper.
I
Oh
have
my
notes.
God.
I have one other good point. Hold on, let me see here. Wait.
Well, good for you though.
Hold on,
That's
hold
good.
on.
That's good.
Thank you. I tried to put them on. No, no, I'm not gonna be able to find it. Okay, so the NSA think of it. Who did they? Okay. People interviewing. Yeah, why didn't they take the pictures? Who bought his story? Oh, just did they know? I thought that in the presser where they brought out the new sketch, everyone was so disappointed to find out that the old bridge guy sketch that was drawn second but put out first, that to be like, we put up his face everywhere, we spent so much time and money and put him everywhere, now he's been ruled out, and then there become these rumors how he was actually cleared. And I kind of saw it as the opposite.
That guy was
like,
never cleared. They didn't even know who the person is. I don't know why people come up with
I
stupid
know.
stuff like
He's a
that.
fake
People just
person.
say the most ludicrous things on social
Right?
media. Oh, they cleared the first
Yeah,
guy. No,
and
they never
so-
said that. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
Carter said that it's somewhere right in between the two sketches. Right after he said,
Right.
see, Carter said, this new sketch is now the main sketch and the other one is now secondary. We think the person on the bridge is this new sketch and he is the killer of Abby Libby. Oh, and then next day he's on a news channel. Well, I think it's somewhere in between. And then you just go, you know, it's just unbelievable. And by the way, you guys, it's getting like that in the chat. We've really slowed down again, you guys. All right, so what else? Yeah, that's it.
All right. So yeah, no, I just felt like everybody was focused on that, and what actually happened was they accidentally not cleared, but they disregarded the first sketch as being like, oh no, she probably just saw Rick or whatever, and then someone new came in and was like, oh my God, this person, they didn't see, they were lying somehow or whatever. So that was just kind of my thought about that. So thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, cool. Well, good
And I
stuff.
feel like hopefully we're making some.
You should be an auctioneer. You
stuff.
talk really quick. You get a lot of stuff in.
Thank you.
Not like this.
I'm fired out of it, 10 down, 15 on the mind.
It's not quite that fast.
No, I had a friend who was an auctioneer. Actually, it's impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty
Mine's
amazing.
just nervous and trying to get through all my notes.
Yep. Well, thank you. It's good stuff. Appreciate it.
All right.
Have a good one.
Y'all have a good night.
Bye bye. All right. Hello, 856.
Hey, Gray.
It's Lillian. How's it going?
Yes, I'm all right. Nancy and I watched your show from last night this afternoon,
Oh yeah.
and it still just catches me. I'll tell you, both of us. And that woman, when you were working out that, whatever she was trying, with the, I forget, but it was really interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. It just
Excuse
turns
me.
out it couldn't possibly be able to determine anything because you'd have to type in the number, the case number.
Yeah.
To do it.
But Gray, I'm still going to stick to my guns, whether I'm right or wrong. Do you remember early
what do you
on
mean?
with
What do you mean whether you're
with
right
the
or wrong?
Kagan,
Yeah.
with I believe Kagan and that whole Dropbox and I still think
Yeah, I mean, I keep
they're
saying
involved some kind of way.
Yeah,
I don't think this guy is a lone wolf. That's just me. I could be.
Well, I'm not saying. I'm
100%
saying.
wrong.
I'm just basing it on what the murder sheet said.
Right.
You know,
With the
they're-
murder sheet. And I didn't see that. I only
I
listened to what you put on there.
Well, I listened to it, and
but
what they said, with the stuff that they're saying, it doesn't necessarily mean anything different. I'm just saying, does it mean that, hey, maybe it is maybe it's possible that they're, it's more pointing in a lone wolf sort of scenario, but it doesn't even change the fact that everything that he's doing, that he did, is still something he would have done even if he was part of the network. He still would have went to the police and said, "Hey, so it doesn't change anything.
Gray, this is just my opinion on that. When you take people out of their element, like you could be walking in a store and say a guy or a girl that always wears a uniform. Well, they're not wearing their uniform, and you just walk right by them, and they go, "Hey, Gray," and you go, "Oh, my God, I didn't even know it was you." You take somebody out of their element, and sometimes you don't know them. So maybe this Richard Allen, he had a beard when the crime was committed. And, it's so easy for a guy to shave and get it off. So then, like you said, and because we're all going to be saying the same thing, basically, because we're hearing the same thing, and we think basically the same, that maybe somebody did see him out there, because why else would he interject himself and put himself there?
Well, that's what we said on the first show. That
yeah,
it's funny. Like Alfred goes, "Great point, Lillian," but we've already said the same thing.
No,
when she was out there,
Ray,
no, but it's always a good point.
No.
But what I'm saying is, she always. It's so funny how we've already said.
Excuse me.
We've said the stuff about that. That's probably why he came forward, because he ran into somebody out there, or he saw the picture of himself on the screen. But it's more likely he thought, "Wow, somebody walked by him on the trail," and just realized.
And like I said, Gray, I'm not thinking this up myself. We've said it before, and but when everybody's sitting there and we're thinking this, there had to be a reason why he would put himself there. That, because if you, so here he is working at the CVS, and people see him, they probably in a million years, because the audio on when Libby took the audio and video, you really, to me, it sounded different to me, but the guys down the hill, we probably really wouldn't even be able to figure out who that was. Not really. That's just my opinion. So now you got him in the CVS, and he's waiting on people, and you probably wouldn't even think for 1 minute, because he's in an element where he probably has a CVS shirt on, and he looks maybe a little bit different, no beard, no goatee, no mustache.
He doesn't even look like, when he's shaved, he doesn't look like the sketch.
No, he does. No, he. Yeah, so, I'll tell you what. If I say it looks like either of the sketch, I would have to go with the first one, the older one.
Well, at least it had a goatee.
No, it doesn't really. And most of the time, Gray, I don't see these sketches resembling not too many killers, in my opinion.
No.
But I think he. That's just me. I think he is involved with the Klein somehow, because this is why, too. If Kagan didn't go out with the FBI to the Wabash River, and then they're looking for something for like a month, and then there's dead silence, then all of a sudden, Kagan, we know he's been cooperating with the police, so then he gets the dates moved several times for his trial, and then now he's getting some little things knocked off of his time for the porn charges.
Yeah.
So to me, he had to give them some pretty good information about what they were looking for.
It's just hard to believe that. The reason I'm doing is because the murder sheet's information, but even the murder sheet at the end talked about how he just made another, was working a deal, so they extended out the time again, and is that connected? And the only thing that makes it, that's like, he came forward early on to the, let them know that he was out there, and then it was just sort of a random. That's the part that I'm not really sure if that's really. That's what they reported, that it was just somebody looking at old files and went, "Oh wow, look at this," and stumbled upon
Well,
it. But if that's the truth, then I mean,
well,
after looking at him, did they find a connection to the Kagan Klein, and that's why he was out there. And that's why he was out there.
Obviously, Gray, they didn't. But what the hell was I going to say now? This is bad when you can't remember from 1 minute to the next. If you remember, Superintendent Carter said, and we might have interviewed you before.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Lesenby said, I know that voice. He said this on an interview. Where do I know that voice? I heard that voice. And did he go to the CVS? Because that was the only CVS they said in town. So that was like the point, the place where you could go for your prescriptions and different things. But to me, I don't know if you would recognize it from the audio. I don't know, but I think just to look at him at the store, I think people go, nah.
Yeah,
because they had him.
I keep saying, like, people get like, wow, if that was my husband, I'd recognize him, and if I did. Well, let me ask you this: how come not one of your coworkers see you even more than a wife usually, right? So it's like, how come there isn't one person that went shopping there or saw him on a daily basis, said, man, I really think it's this guy, man?
Mm-hmm.
How come none of them recognize him?
Because like they said, Greg, he blended right in.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he lived so close to the bridge, and in my opinion, he knew that well. He's a hiker. I read articles where him and his wife really did some pretty strenuous hiking. So going down that hill and then across the private drive and the other little hill would be nothing for him with what they showed of him with his wife and talking about how much he would hike and how far up and down that mountain. So, I mean, and as far as having blood on them, the police said in when that came out from the murder sheet that he would have had blood on him. I think he would have had, I don't see how you can do that to two young girls and not get something on you. That's just my opinion. Now, we know Anna said she heard on the video, the audio when they played it for her, he's got a gun, and then they heard,
right, that's what I said on, that's what I said on the show, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that was, when somebody pulls a gun on you, and I told you I know about that, saw it off too, you freeze. So these girls, they're young kids, they're frightened to death. He wouldn't pull a knife because then they could scatter, but when you pull a gun, you can't outrun a bullet. So he corrals them with that gun and then did what he did with the knife. So I think he would have had some on him, but like you said, Gray, he might have taken off that jacket, just wrapped it up, went out through the cemetery, and if Kagan, now here again, Kagan puts himself in the mix. Well, I was waiting for somebody. Now, why are you going to do that? And you know that the police are going to want to make sure that he's telling the truth. He's not going to get time knocked off if they find out, that's not true. So I believe he might have been waiting for him. And so he drove him home, bing, bang, boom, and nobody saw him. So but I think that it's all going to be connected somehow, some way.
It seems like that's what makes the most sense.
It does to me. And like I said, I could be 100% wrong. But for Kagan to be working on a deal and all, he knows, and we said it before, we know he wasn't the person on the bridge that murdered the girls, but he definitely knew what was going on, for sure.
Right.
So I hope they round all those guys up, and I hope they pay the price, Gray. I really do, because when we watched today, Nancy said to me, "Oh my God, the one where you had both Libby and Abby on the bridge walking, you know," and I said, "Look at this. Is this? I mean, Gray, I have to tell you, I told you many times, that was brilliant. Every crack in that bridge, twig coming out between the ties, the forked tree, everything. You had it down pat." And I said, "Nancy, look at this." She goes, "That's why I call him the map master." I said, "I called him map man before you did. Stop it." And we crack up. But I mean, it's brilliant. And we're going to get the answers, I hope. And
yep.
I just hope we don't have to wait too long. So thanks for taking my call.
Well, thanks for calling in, Lillian.
Yeah, and thanks to all the freaks.
You always have good points, but it's always funny. Like I'll have said something, and then like everyone doesn't remember it, and somehow you're the one that brings it back.
Listen to me. I read everything I can on Delphi. I'm obsessed with it. I have been, and I listen to you. Now, if I called up and I talked nonsense, you'd tell me, "Do you ever watch this show?"
Yeah, I would.
You don't. This is why I know what I know, because I watch your show, and if I miss it, I watch it here on my TV, and I read everything, not from other YouTubers, but from the news. And that's why I know what I know. It's not that I know more than you or anybody in chat. It's just that I'm interested. And when I'm interested in something, I try to pay attention. And I don't, like I say, I don't know if there's anything else that I can say or anybody else that you haven't brought to our attention or we saw it written down in the news, because when you call up with facts, Gray, it's going to be the same. I mean, just like that lady said today, or was it last? No, it wasn't last. Maybe it was on last night. She said about you with the Rodney case. How did you get those headlights in there? And you were like, "Well, I did this, that." That was amazing, and I saw that. So I mean, that's how we learn. And I'll tell you what, if I would not call your channel with incorrect information if I couldn't help it, because I knew you'd be on me like you'd be saying, "What the heck's wrong with you? You're a freak, and you're calling up with this jazz."
Yeah. Oh, well.
So I told you, next time I told Nancy, she's been feeling so. And you know what, Gray? All these people from Australia, I just got to tell you this one thing. Nancy's father was in the military, and she was born in France. That's why she has such a lovely speaking voice, I guess. Well, and I talk like a New Jersey girl. Completely different, off the hook.
Well, I think we all like
Greg,
it, though. It's like, the straight shooters.
Well, that's me, baby. I am the straight shooter. I wouldn't know how to be any other way. But listen, we're going to find out. And after I'm done your show, I'm going to listen to the Murdersheet.
Yep.
So I can find out what they have to say. But I'll tell you what, Gray, if he's a lone wolf, I'll be shocked. And I mean it. I will be shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked. I'd just be like, "Wow, what a coincidence." That's what
I'd be wow too. Then I'd be.
Yeah. I've said it's way. To me, it seems like way more likely that it's connected, but you can't rule out that he. But now, with that information today, it's like, well, maybe it adds a little bit more points to by himself, because somebody stumbled upon him. Because here's the thing: if Kagan isn't the reason that detective stumbled upon him, then it's like, whoa. See, that's where the Murdersheet, the way it sounded like, was that this guy went back and looked for things. However, is it possible that Kagan gave a name to these people? Like, what about this guy? And they went back and found his name in the files, and there he is.
Yes.
Boom. That definitely could have been. So.
And Greg, that's very possible. That is very possible. Oh, and by the way, somebody in chat here is asking if Nancy and I are friends or partners. Well, we're a couple, and we've been together 32 years, and it's been the best 32 years of our lives.
Well, she's so cool.
So,
you guys are both really cool. Perfect couple.
Thank you. We try to be. Thank you very much. So anyway, Gray, we'll see what happens, but I think they are. Kagan is singing for a reason. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, we'll see.
So we'll see.
I mean, that's what it makes sense to me. It's weird that it doesn't make sense to people. See, when you do Occam's razor, people bring that up all the time. Occam's razor says it's a lone wolf. Well, no, it doesn't actually. The Occam's razor, given the information that we have that's out there, it doesn't mean that. Because you would almost have to say, because here's what I've said this like 95 times now. You would have to believe that, but for the fact that Libby and Abby were killed by a random psycho killer, Kagan Klein, or the Anthony Shots profile, wasn't able to meet up with the girls like he was supposed to that day. Wow.
Right.
I mean, what are the odds of that?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that's why I say, he was talking to her in the morning, so it's all going to come, and I just think the letter that he wrote is unbelievable too. Yeah. But we'll see. I know you have other calls,
okay.
And it's we're going to get every answer, but I don't think it's going to be televised, is it, Gray?
I don't know what they'll do. That seems like I don't know. Indiana doesn't really do that too often, but they had like a
That's
test
what they say. But does Indiana have the death penalty?
Yes, they do.
They do. Well, that's too easy. All right, Gray. Have a good night, and thank you for taking my call. And stay well, freaks.
All right.
And you're a good bunch of people.
Yeah, well, great having you call in. All right.
Thank you, Gray.
Have a good one.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. Lillian. Yep. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was talking. Amanda was talking in there. Let's see, or not Amanda. Who was that? Melanie. The one with the name Melanie in there. There's other people named Melanie that aren't really. Their name doesn't show that. She was saying that with the whole, with all due respect, the name, what was it? That it's way different that the wife should have recognized him. I just don't think so, man. Friends, when you go to work, you know how you work with somebody for like 8 hours a day and you're standing next to them and you're talking to them and everything? And, and then when you've been married, like a wife, of course you're going to know somebody and their mannerisms and everything. But he has friends too, and people that he's hung out with for a long time, and not one person. So to sit there and suggest that the wife should have known or did know and said nothing, you're just a lunatic, okay? And that's just the truth. Now, she didn't recognize him, right? She has nothing to do with it. It just means that she didn't, and that's because he blends into society and he was able to fool all the people easily. And not one person in the town recognized at all. No, you're saying that the wife should be able to recognize him over everybody else. That's all I'm saying. No, I know she's cool. I'm not saying that. Yeah, and I didn't say you think that she knew. I'm saying that the people who think that, you're not necessarily a lunatic if you think that, but you're just really stretching, because these serial killer types. No, what you were saying was that she should have had the ability to recognize, because I said there isn't one person in the town, even with the face up there, that recognized him. And then you said, and I said, so that's probably, the wife didn't recognize either. And then you said, well, that's not close, man. If it's like the wife is should recognize even more than the other people. I don't remember the exact wording, but that was it, right? That was it. And I don't know, man. It just seems like good friends, or when he goes plays pool every single night at that place. How come somebody in there didn't recognize him, especially when there's a sketch right there? The wife probably just went, there's no way this is him. And when you look at the guy on the bridge, it kind of looks like, the structure of his body is similar, but you can't see the face at all. So how would somebody really know at that point? I don't know if that makes any sense. I know that's not what you said. I didn't say that that's what you said up there, Melanie. Let's see. If he was cool, calm, collected, you can get away with anything. Yeah, I don't know, man. No, I'm not saying a customer. I'm talking about coworkers. I said that clearly. People that spend 8 hours a day standing next to him at CVS. And all the people, yes, and then the people that go in there every single day and see him. But there's coworkers and his friends, and nobody said a damn thing. At least not that we know of, right? Because there could have been people that came forward and said, hey, he kind of looks like that. And they go, oh, yeah, well, he already came forward. And I hope that never happened. If they... Jesus. It's really bothersome when you guys think that, he actually came forward. It's crazy. All right, 973.
Hey, Gray, it's Regina Carter. How are you?
Regina Carter. Man, you could almost sing the Marilyn Monroe Happy Birthday yourself.
Yes, so I've been told. Part of the Jersey accent, I guess, following Lillian, our other Jersey freak. I have been thinking a lot about the whole, Keegan connection to, Rick Allen, or the Rick Allen connection to Keegan and Kagan. And something that I keep going back to is the fact that the search Kagan reportedly did, with how long does DNA last, all of this scientific stuff that he was looking up online. And I was wondering, is it possible? Yes, I definitely think there's a connection, whether it's the Dropbox or not. Could it be possible that Kagan knew Rick Allen was going, but not going to actually kill the girls, but that he was going there, for nefarious intentions, but not necessarily murder. And that he then freaked when he found out that the girls were actually murdered, and that's what sparked him, to
right. But if you think that they're connected,
do the search.
Well, if you think they're connected, then the whole Wabash River thing is connected, right? And then then you might think, well, then what was in the river? How would he have known that there was something in the river, unless they were right there? Like he was the one that put something in there, and is Vegas connected to what happened there? And if it is, then maybe the whole thing about something being filmed at the scene is something I never even put any credibility to at all until the Kagan-Klein connection. But if you take away the Kagan-Klein connection and all that stuff, then it could just be like a serial killer killing moment, and that's it. It's kind of
right. Yeah, it's just something that's been, twirling around in my head. Yes, maybe it was that he knew he was going to film them, but not necessarily that it was going to be a, snuff related, type of video, that was being done. He's just such a coward, and he's such a liar. That's what makes it doubly difficult. What is he saying that is true? What is it that he's saying that's not? But I just don't see him not ratting on Rick Allen unless there was a fear there, or until he could get a deal that he won't be charged for any type of connection, to Delphi, to the murder itself. Why hold out for 5.5 years? It just bothers me. Why the loyalty, there, unless he was so afraid that he was going down.
Well, probably the
with Allen.
felony murder aspect of it. So that would actually support a felony murder. Like, he knew that he was there driving around and they were killed. So, he doesn't want, if he gives up the name, that'll point back to him as the driver. So he's going to cut a deal before he does that.
Right. Now I gotcha. Well, thank you for taking my call. I'm just sitting here working as usual and listening as usual.
All right. Have you ever called in before?
No, this is the first time.
I was going to say, wow, we've all heard from Regina Carter.
Yay!
The legend. All right.
Yeah, virgin caller. I hope I get more than a C.
It was good. It was, I give you an A. It was good. All right, that's all I can say.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in chat.
All right, see you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Regina Carter. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's do, maybe Melanie's right. Let's do a poll. I don't know. And polls are anonymous, right? So, I mean, people are probably going to say yeah. So it's going to be, should a wife recognize Richard, or should a spouse recognize a husband suspect more than friends and co-workers? So probably going to be there you go. I just want to see what you guys think. I don't really know. For me, it's like if it was one of my friends, I'd know him. I'd be able to recognize for sure. I'm sure I'm going to lose. I don't even know if there's a correct answer or not. I guess it depends on how close you guys are. And I guess if she went hiking with them all the time, she should definitely be able to recognize, like you would think, like if, I don't know. I mean, if you just don't believe if it's your husband or not, then it's not going to be the person, right? And then they change it up in 2019 when she may have come forward and go, oh, well, hell, my husband doesn't look like this guy. That looks like Tom Cruise. All right. So it looks like Melanie's winning that one. Right, but wouldn't friends too also know the same thing, Zozo? Like somebody, a good friend or somebody that you stand next to every single day? Yeah. All right, so hold on. Let me do... we'll play these recordings again from...
Very cordial, but I remembered what pulled me to his name tag was his voice. When he talked, it was slow, but not stupid, if that makes sense. There was no excitement with the way that he talked. So when he spoke to me that day, and I was just looking down at my shit on the counter, I was like, that sounds really familiar. We asked Amanda if she thought his voice sounded like the voice recorded on Libby's phone.
Well, it could have been that she looked at the person and went, wow, that looks a little bit like my husband, but man, that can't be him. He doesn't do that.
She said that she did not want to speculate too much, but that it was close. And when she listened to it again with all of this in mind, it gave her chills. So let's take a moment to jump back to our interview with Gabriella, one of Rick's former classmates at North Miami High School.
Yes, because Amanda there just took us up to 2016, 2017, and Gabrielle can tell us a little bit more.
He was interviewed after the murders happened. Police did interview him, and I got that through his wife telling mutual friends that happened. She played it off more like he was just part of the community and they were interviewing everybody in the community, and that's why he was interviewed right away.
Yeah, so he must have told her that he was just being interviewed. But it could be that when he went in there, they also interviewed him. I mean, so he went in as a witness. He could be both, actually. But he didn't mention that he went in.
But I don't know if there was more than that.
Actually, the story that his wife told people wasn't quite true. Russ McQuaid.
Hey, by the way, I gotta pause the show. Let's hit that like button. Melanie, even you too. You gotta hit the like button. You won. You got it 66%. Here we go.
I'm tired of it now.
Hit the like button, 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 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, hit the like button. Come on, hit that like button.
30 now, 5, I'm 35.
All right, hit
I'm tired of it now.
Hit the like button, 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 hit the like button. Okay, keep saying that, Colleen. I didn't say she wasn't. You weren't paying attention, Colleen. Jesus, you guys are like... Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 30. We're only at 708, 708. We need to get to 800 at least. 800 at least. Alright, very simple. Just hit that like button. Hit the like button, 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 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 40. No, she doesn't.
You want to put 30, sir. 25 of them, you're out. 25, 30 now, 5, I'm 35.
All right. Well, if you can think of hitting it, that'd be great. Yeah. I know Melanie's smart up in there. I was just saying, I don't think it's to me, it's not weird at all that the wife didn't come forward when not another soul came forward when he has a public job and his face is in front of everybody's face all day long. Okay? So how come nobody else turned him in? So that just means that his persona and his personality was able to convince people because he just blended right in that he wasn't the person. So what I'm trying to do when I argue against that is to say, like, I think it's people get too hard on the spouse and like, oh, she should have known, or like some idiot above said, the wife knows, man. The wife knew. Well, you don't have a clue, right? You can't claim that to be true, right? Thanks, Colleen, for the support. Yeah. Anyways, so 66%. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she might not have believed. That's what I just said a minute ago, Dan. I said the wife probably doesn't think. She might have even said, "Oh, that looks kind of like him," but man, there's no way that's him. This is what he does. Jeez. Right, let me keep playing this.
Of Channel 59 here in Indianapolis reported that actually Alan went to the police himself and identified himself.
All right, so we've got 388 votes, and I don't know what the numbers are, but like if I was going to do math, it'd be something like, like 120 to 200 and something. I don't know.
Is someone who was at the trails at roughly the time of the murders. So naturally, police at that time were interested in talking to him for whatever reasons. Maybe this is something we can discuss in the future.
What happened, Jen? What happened? What happened? What happened?
He got off the radar.
Did the show stop? What does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, Gray, no. What does that mean? What happened? What happened? Oh, Gray, no. What I do? What happened?
And he wasn't really that. Actually, Alan went to the police himself and identified himself as someone who was at the trails at roughly the time of the murders.
So he goes in there and says, "Hey, cops, I was at the trail right around that same time, But I'm just letting you know so you can cross me off your list. Oh, hey, thanks a lot, Rich. We'll see you at the pharmacy next week. Hey, Chuck, throw that into the not the suspect bin over there. Really? Wow. I mean, it just seems like if this guy came forward, he'd be somebody you would just scrutinize the hell out of. Especially if they would just had looked at his wife's social media page and saw some of the pictures where he looks almost exactly like what you'd think the guy would look like.
So naturally, police at that time were interested in talking to him for whatever reasons. Maybe this is something we can discuss in the future. He got off the radar, and he wasn't really a target of the investigation, wasn't really a focus of the investigation for a while. And obviously, at some point, that changed. And there's been speculation about what it was that made that change.
Right. So the speculation that may have made that change, maybe that was Kagan Klein. Okay. Could it be that the Kagan Klein information is what led to them refocusing again on Richard Allen, right? Yeah, I would turn my spouse in too if I really believed that after hearing a voice and a look and I knew for certain it was them. But if you're not certain, and here's the thing, everybody. I'll just open it up right now. Here we go. Watch. I mean, look at my. I won't even show it to you. My folder on the Delphi case is so massive. It's just. And look at this one guy that people thought was. Look at that guy right here. Remember this guy right here? Look how he has that almost exactly the same, the shorter legs and the longer torso. So that's why some people thought that this guy who is going to be in prison for probably the rest of his life for attacking, I think she was 8 years old. Remember him? Chadwell or whatever his name is. I think this was early on, sort of highly blown out image that I did. Let's just use this one right here. Can you really tell that like, look at how blurry the face is. Can you really tell that? Would you be willing to turn your spouse in for a picture like that? There's no detail on the face. Now, if you recognize all the items that he's wearing, and this picture right here is why I don't believe in at all that is a fanny pack. See how it's absolutely flat on the leg right there? There's no shadow underneath it. It's just a shirt underneath a shirt tail. But man, the other night when we were looking at that stocking cap on the head, it does make you think that maybe that could be what that is. And this portion over here on the sides is really just sort of a, it's like maybe part of a hoodie that's behind his head. And it just sort of appears connected because of how pixelated it is. Hey, Bobby, you just type in nope. Type in a sentence, okay? All right. Yeah, I think that's such a terrible comparison. Delphi wouldn't recognize Donald Trump in CVS. Yeah, because this guy is so much more recognizable than him. Such a dumb comment. Oh, the auction voice. Man, that was so long ago, Jen. Man, I see what you're saying. Oh, look at, there's Mary Lou up there. She's looking at all of you. Don't you see that?
Gosh, you guys, you're always so mean to Gray. Look at all the mean comments. Gee.
I haven't really seen any mean comments. Oh, there's one right there. Unsolved crimes. I was just called so mean. And guess what that means, everybody? I get thrown into the so mean jail. Poor Gray. Oh yeah, don't forget the prosthetic leg, the oxygen tank, the... That's right, Colleen. Yeah, I want people to sell their arguments. You know, maybe I'll have to. I'll believe more that a spouse should recognize more, but maybe not that much more. And after I get out of prison somehow, I'll show you an image that was put out in about 2017 based off of all the crazy speculation people made on the image itself. Okay, you'll see that here in a minute. Thank you, Moofies. That'll definitely buy a bar of soap to slip to the... Oh, and there we go with the... Whoa! Holy moly, moly, moly. Well, I'll get the hell out of jail right now. Thank you, everybody. Moofies and Nicole. And plus, I did a poll, so Melanie wins. She got it. Cleo Ellie, thank you. And man, thank you so much. Bama forever! Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And Janalison. She said, poor Mr. Gray, you're not mean. Simple days, simple life days. And Kim Berger said, I am transferring you to prison. Again? What'd I do this time? Whoa, what the hell happened? You guys are... Thank you so much. You'll get to see this picture. Thank you, 80s baby. Tosh. And Mag. All right, thank you so much. Oh, okay, we'll do a flyby at the end. Handley Woodward Stone. Miss Guess. You guys are awesome. Alright, oh, fine. Okay, good, I got it. Well, anyways, thank you guys so much. I wasn't expecting that. I was just kind of... Alright, let me do this middle monitor here. Hold on one second. That was my wife heading home. Now here we go, everybody. You get to view... Oh, let me turn this off. One of the original images out there. Look at this thing. This was hilarious. Because, see, I would do videos on the sun, you know, the angle of the sun and everything like this. And people would go, no, it's the other way. So this person put the sun in there, the forked tree over here. Then they have him with this camo hoodie hat on, a GoPro in his mouth. A puppy dog, looks a lot like Chloe for some reason, coming out of the, maybe that was a sign that I was going to get a Chloe. And then a dog sticking out of the windbreaker there. And don't forget the paddle that they said was down the leg here. And then an oxygen tank, and then there was a car under the bridge. See, these are all things that were mentioned. That's how crazy it was, you guys. Still is just as crazy. Just differently. Wow. Yeah, it just brings back, hey, I guess it was somebody named Nick who did that. So there you go. Look at that. Unreal. Now let's do, is there anything in here? The GoPro is the only thing that you might, not in the mouth, but if you want to think that it was some kind of recording there could be some element of that somewhere, but not on it that we see. This paddle thing was so ridiculous. They literally said the paddle was down one of his pants. Can anybody picture putting a paddle? I mean, let me see if I can find the image. I mean, it was just so ludicrous. Yeah, this one right here. This is it. It was right there. See that right there, that shape? Because of that shape, they go, oh my God, everybody, there's a paddle. There's a paddle down there. And I was like, no, that's just the sun hitting there. So let me see. He's walking with a paddle down his pants, and the rest of it goes up into the jacket over there. That's pretty weird. That is pretty weird. And then there was actually other images that don't show that same thing because that leg isn't forward now. Anyways, crazy times. Come on. You have to admit that's pretty crazy. Yeah, no, all these things. A puppy dog in the shirt. Oh, and let me show you what they thought was the puppy dog. So when you zoom in right here, this right here is the nose of the dog, and then these are the four legs. So there's the head. Of course, they forgot to realize that real dogs don't have an outline, just cartoon characters, you know? So yeah, that's not the nose of the dog, and then the arms here stuck inside the jacket. Well, Gray, how do we know that? Because it's just pure lunacy, all right? Do you still own those knee-high Ugg boots? Yeah, I still do. One of the soles are off one of them, though. They kind of go just above the shin. They're not really all the way up to the... Oh, yeah, you remember the one it was really cool. We came up with this one where you could put skis on and ski down all of the leaves, because that's what people do. So we did these funny, I mean, I don't know. It was just, there was a certain point where it was just totally goofy out there. Yeah. So let me play some of these other clips though again. So we just played one, and then two was...
Some people have said that Kathy Walker Allen, Rick's wife, tipped police off.
And she ends up going to say that no, she did not. Then number three is...
Basically, Rick Allen came back on the radar after somebody connected to the Delphi investigation.
So, Rick Allen came back on the radar. That means after he originally came forward and said he was there, but some time way later, like this year, he came back on the radar when...
Connected to the Delphi investigation, was going through old tips, came upon some sort of file or documentation regarding Rick Allen, and came upon some sort of file or documentation regarding Rick Allen, came upon a tip.
Came upon a tip. So what was that tip, everybody? Yeah, somebody in the local area, they came upon a tip. You know, well, was it a tip that was turned in way back then, or was it a tip that was just recently developed that led to a file, and they realized he was early on had come forward or something?
Came upon Delphi investigation, was going through old tips, came upon a tip.
So that now, but this one says they were going through old tips, and then came upon a tip amongst the old tips. So that actually suggests something other than Kagan in that, right? Doesn't it? So there were old tips, and then they came upon one of the old tips, if that's true, right? That part.
Came upon some sort of file or documentation regarding Rick Allen, and basically looked at it and thought that it needed a second look.
Huh. So somehow, I don't know. I'd like to know the origin of that. That would be in the probable cause, I'm sure. I'm sure it'd be pretty interesting.
And that second look was given, and that started the chain of events that ultimately led to the arrest of Rick Allen.
Yeah. So, I don't know. They said they went through some old tips, but maybe while going through the old tips. But it seems like here's the thing though. If Kagan had mentioned Richard Allen, why would you have to go stumble through old tips to find Richard Allen instead of just like, okay, oh wow, you gave me the name Richard Allen or Rick Allen, so let's go ahead and see if he's in our system. Oh wow, this guy came forward, and you wouldn't really have to be digging around looking at old tips. So if that's a true statement, that actually, for me, points more towards the like a lone wolf killer that they stumbled upon themselves, not through Kagan Klein. But maybe it's a situation where there's a little bit of not telling the truth on how they came upon this name, maybe to protect Kagan somehow. Because there could be elements when he's in prison that will, think of him as a snitch. But if they somehow come forward and say, oh no, we stumbled upon this ourselves, it was just totally random, maybe that takes a little heat off of him. Maybe that's part of the deal. I don't know. But that's just wild speculation on my part right there. So don't even put like a 10,000 buckets of salt on that one. Yeah, what about the red Jeep thing? Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of things. What is true and what isn't true, right? We don't really know. The red Jeep, I mean, is that a real story? I mean, the Marathon gas station search. Well, here's the thing. We don't know any of these things. Murdersheet does have a good reputation in terms of, their sources and everything like that. So, the Marathon gas station search is just something that they said. We haven't seen that in an official document. The Jeep, however, is even less credible than the Marathon because it was just something that Kagan told somebody that they heard Kagan said. What? Clarify who listening to what? What are you talking about, Samantha? Yeah, the Murder Sheet's a podcast. The link's in the description. I told you that at the beginning of the show. And I've played it like 2 or 3 times already. Yeah, I mean, I know people don't like the thing is I'm not like buddies with the Murder Sheet anymore. I had them on my show. They got what they needed from my show, a lot of views, and people were like, oh, the Murder Sheet. And then for some reason, they were communicating with me about something. They told me everything that we were talking about was on the podcast. Then I mentioned on my show what was on the podcast. And apparently, I wasn't able to say what was on the podcast. And I haven't heard from them since. They've just totally shut me out. And it was just totally bullshit because they told everybody that when they have a problem with somebody, they'll communicate with them and try to figure out, but they don't really do that. Only when they can benefit from having the discussion. In my case, it's like, yeah, we don't need to forget that guy. He's only covered the case since the very beginning ethically, but let's just treat him like a bunch of garbage. Kelly B said, okay, so here's my Vision Gray in knee-high Ugg boots, cut-off jean shorts. That's almost about right. It was about 1980. Yep, that's about right. Well, except not really because in Australia it was the winter time. Yeah. Oh wait, did I get a call a minute ago? I just remembered. No. I do not know who their source is. But it's been a pretty good one. We haven't found anything that wasn't true at this point. Although the part about, Tony Klein, is I don't know. I mean, Tony Klein, based off of his record, is not a really good person. Okay, so I don't really begrudge any comments. He seems like somebody very capable of very violent things. Hey, thank you, Robert Hart. Yep. I'm going to be probably sending in another night, like real soon, some more money somewhere. I'm not sure where. But I was looking it up, you guys. I didn't realize it, but we've given $6,000 to the Libby Nabby ballpark directly. Is that crazy or what? Hell, we probably had something to do with a whole section of benches out there or something. That's crazy. I actually looked up all the numbers the other day, and it was, what was that? Yeah, and then, how many times have we given to NCMEC in their honor? Probably, I'd say at least 5-6 times. So... yeah, the ballpark looks great, man. Yeah, it looks like a real, honest-to-goodness, crazy ballpark. I mean, perfect. Well, cool. I've got we've got a whole bunch of pavers there. I don't know where they are, the images that I had. But we have one that says Freaks, the Freak family on it. One of them, like Grant Hughes Investigates, another one for my brother. Oh, you're part of it too, right? Disc Golf Bear? You can be a freak too. Oh, thanks. Well, here's the thing, everybody. The reality is this. I have a monetized YouTube channel, and all the freaks help support my channel and allow me to keep doing what I do every single night. But at the same time, because of your generosity, I'm able to, from the income from the channel, like literally, after the net income, I donate over 50% of that to charities. Now, if the income on the channel is really low, it'd be hard to do something like that and justify being able to do it. But like last month was absolutely nuts. October might have been the best month just in general. I mean, all the cases that were crazy, and getting new subs, recognition for different things out there, and we were able to, from the income, donate $8,000, which is way over 50% of the net revenue, but PayPal made up, so I was able to do that much. So that was cool. Yeah, it's just the part that always bugs me is whenever you get a case like this that gets big, there's these segment of YouTubers that really never talk about any other case ever throughout the year other than whatever is the next popular one. They just quickly switch right over to that one. And I wish that there was some sort of a negative algorithm hit for that or something. It's pretty weird, but there's no way to do that. It's disappointing, though. Hey, thank you so much. Tamara, not today, but Tamara. So does anybody else want to, any more calls coming in? I mean, we're already at 2 hours and 41 minutes. I only got 20 more minutes here, probably. But I'm going to do the flyby, as Mag requested. Plus, I like doing the flybys. It actually makes me relaxed a little bit. You guys get that same feeling? After, like, the intense discussions about Delphi and all that, you're just kind of like, here we go. We do the flyby. Oh, there we go. 408. 408. Yeah, yep. Yeah, we can hear you. Yep, what's going on?
Hi, Gray. It's Kumari. How you doing tonight?
Kumari?
Kumari.
Yeah, you've called him before, right? Like a long time ago or something?
Yeah, I called a couple times. Naomi Arion and
Yeah.
a couple different cases.
Yeah. So
How you doing tonight?
Oh, not too bad. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. I'm just jumping in here. So, but you know, one thing I thought might be helpful. You know, this guy's kind of terrifying because it's like you have a picture, you have a voice. It's like, what more can you use to identify somebody? But one thing I've really been thinking about is, you know, the video of this guy walking didn't come out until, what was it, like 2019?
Yeah, it's only 2 seconds long too.
It's only 2 seconds long. He's on a bridge, like the Hi Paulette. Sorry, somebody said hi to me in the chat. But it's like, I feel like there's a lot of scrutiny going on to the family and to Delphi, but the videos, I felt like the most valuable thing of this was the actual walk. And even though he's on a bridge, one thing that you could tell is his legs are pretty skinny. So whether he's
That's
top
what I
heavy
thought,
or not,
too.
you know, that's
Yeah. Well, I don't know how skinny they are. They're just not really big fat legs. But I mean, he has pretty big calves in real life, but you can't really see that in the image.
Mhm.
Maybe they're sort of narrow, but with bigger calves. You know.
Yeah, but like when you're looking at the jeans, like they look a lot bigger than they are, but when you see him actually move, you see that the jeans are really loose. And that stuff came out so late after we had the image. It's like, say his wife, if she had a suspicion at first, you're seeing this picture, but you're seeing your husband act completely fine. He's going to work like normal. Like, why would you? It wouldn't have been enough, but I think if that video had come out in the beginning, it could have maybe helped, but it had just come out so late.
Yeah, it's
and
weird
then
that they didn't
you
put
get
that
the
out.
extra word.
Yeah, I mean, why not just put out, hey, you know, guys down the hill, and the video early on. There was nothing given up by that.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm trying to look back at everything now. Like I've been watching the old press conferences now with what little more we know now. And it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. There would have been nothing. Honestly, I think if he had seen that there is a video of him walking, he probably would have shit his pants. Like he probably like lost. It probably freaked him out to see that picture in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, but
I inhaled some water.
it doesn't make sense.
Sorry about that. I inhaled water.
You inhaled your water?
Yeah, I was like, oh man, jeez.
Yeah.
God, that was crazy. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when that first image was out, you know, that's probably when he came forward and said, oh, I was out there. And I just think, man, what a move it would have been just to say, well, hey, is this you right here on the bridge? And at that time, because there was no audio release, you could just be like, well, we had a trail cam. You just make something up to the guy. Hey, we had a trail camera out there. Is this you? I mean, what a move. I mean, I know it's totally hindsight, but right away, before the February 22nd press conference, if he'd come forward before that, because he knew he was seen out there, and they already had this image because they put that out almost like the next day. They wanted to talk to this guy. They could have went, look, we got this on a trail camera out there. Was this you? This looks like you, sir. You would have went, oh yeah, that's me. Yeah, okay. And then we go, oh great. And then boom. I mean, you could almost arrest him immediately. I mean, like because they already had the video at that point. Because as soon as they put that video out, that means they had already retrieved the phone and had taken a shot from that phone, the video that they retrieved from the phone. So the phone obviously wasn't broken up or smashed or anything, because they had this image out there basically the next day. I mean, 2 days later at the most. I mean, it was right then they put that out.
Yeah. Wasn't it like the 22nd of February?
Well, that was the press conference. No, that was the press conference, and they had the picture up, but the still frames were out before, I believe, that press conference. Yeah.
Yeah, and the still frames that they did release, they were so like there's the two versions, or I think there's three that originally came out, and one of them is so wide that it like distorts him.
Yeah, well, somebody just didn't do it right. But remember how there was three of them, but one of them was kind of blurry, so that one sort of left the just wasn't on the internet very much. But there was three of them, and I was able to make a short little walk cycle. And even, it was weird, is even with that one I was saying, look, it looks like he turns his head and he's heading towards the girls just in 3 frames. And when you watch the full video, that's exactly what it looks like. So it's pretty weird how that worked.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't mean to be, too critical of law enforcement. It seems like maybe they got the guy, but to me, it's not, I would hope. This whole time I was thinking, like, as soon as this gets in front of the right person, they're going to see him. Like, they're going to hear, but you have someone who, one of my favorite things people say is the organism does what made the organism successful. Like, he's gone through life just not reacting, just keeping it cool, not saying much, just being in the background. And when all this happened, it seems like he just continued on with it. When there was pressure, after the first search at his house, he still went to work the next day. Like, it doesn't seem like he gave anything for people to really pick up on. So, I mean, we can speculate and say, oh, she should have known, they should have known, his friends should have known, but it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, and also Carter even said the way he's walking on the bridge, he's kind of trying to avoid stepping on the cracks and everything. But I mean, maybe there is something too that maybe a wife spending that many years with somebody would recognize him the most, and even she didn't recognize him. And it also shows you that all these other people that have known him for years, he's lived there since 2006, they didn't recognize him as the killer. He was living right there. So it's like, she would be more familiar with him, like Melanie was saying, but it's just kind of, she didn't. I mean, here's the thing. It's possible that she thought, wow, he kind of looks like, my husband looks like that person, but there's no way he would do that because he doesn't exhibit any of those things around the house. So of course you're going to, and then they put out that young 2019, 2 years after originally the murder, and it's a picture of a little, like an 18-year-old kid. And then at that point, she's like, well, shit, that's not him. 18 to 40, my husband's 47 now, or something. But,
yeah, and the first sketch is, I'm convinced they looked at the picture and, I don't know, tried to work it off of that.
Well, they did. That's what I just said earlier. The original sketch with the goatee was made directly from the video, and the video only. It was not made from any witnesses or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was told that by somebody that was actually working the case at the time. So that's a real piece of information. That wasn't like something I invented. Because I don't do that.
I almost feel like... yeah, fair enough. I almost feel like with the second sketch, there was a little... I think the second sketch, somebody saw him, Richard Allen, but I don't know, maybe they filled in details because, like, you see a gray and goatee. I think the eyes and the nose are kind of dead on, but I'm just like, how do you see that curly hair? Like, he looks like he's wearing a hood. I think that there was details just put in details.
Yeah, they might have been like, oh, he's got a young face. Some people think that this little white thing here underneath his chin is a scarf that he pulled up maybe over his mouth at some point. And so maybe that's why the younger sketch doesn't have a goatee, but he looked like he had a younger eyes and a nose, and maybe that's why the eyes is sort of somewhat accurate on the young sketch.
Oh, no, that's clearly a puppy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Shoot.
That's a puppy.
Yeah, I thought I was onto something.
No, it's a puppy. But, yeah, no, what you're saying is Yeah, but it's definitely scary. This is scarier than I've been following this since 2017, but it's scarier that he was in plain sight, and just you never really know someone, So.
Right.
But yeah, that was just my 2 cents. That's all I wanted to say.
Well,
thanks for taking my call.
Well, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. Kumari.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah. Let's see. I knew I should have locked the meeting. I got 3 more now. Let's see. What was it? Oh, yeah. Well, the second sketch was just based off of a witness, a female witness. And so we don't know that, but it was based off of a witness. It wasn't this guy. Richard Allen isn't the one that provided the witness sketch. It was a witness. I know it's a female, and it's somebody that knows, like the sister, and just the people in Delphi know. When you're a kid there, you know all the other kids, right? No, that's not. We will see. I know the answer to the questions. It's a female witness. It's not this guy right here. Think how stupid that is. Okay, that's where I'm going to get $300 from Zozo, because she's saying that Richard Allen is the guy that gave up the description and said, oh yeah, there was this younger guy and everything like that. So let me see. Richard Allen is sitting down with a sketch artist for the Indiana State Police, where he's describing this other person. I mean, come on. Jeez. Who knows? Who knows, Zozo? Nothing would shock me at this point. Nothing would shock me. All right, 309, you're on.
Hey, can you hear me, Gray?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, good. It's this account.
How's it going?
It's going good. I was on the hostile hold.
Yeah. We got a whole bunch of other calls, so let's try to get them. Let's snap through these ones. I was about to end the show. So what do you got?
Yeah, it's fast. So about the the lone wolf, the opportunistic killer. I'm getting a little confused here, and maybe you can help me out. So he goes out. If it's this lone wolf, he goes out, and then he does what he does, and then we know the alleged has a family, and he goes home like a cool cucumber and pulls it off at his house. And then we also know at some point he goes and does this mask incident too. This same man.
Well, we don't know if it's him. That was just based on the Anthony Schatz profile. They were it happened before they went to Las Vegas, so it could have been Tony or anybody, Could have been Kagan.
Yeah.
But not Kagan. It doesn't make sense for Kagan, because Kagan knew the address of that house, so he wouldn't have been needing to message the girl, hey, what's your address? So, and the ping came from the home, so that's why law enforcement probably thinks that conversation was with Tony. And so who knows? And Tony had done those types of things when he was younger. So who knows?
From the Anthony Schatz linking somewhat to Keegan's father. Well, but that's where I keep getting a little confused, because so then somebody would go out and put themselves in a risky situation where they show up at a home in a mask just days after 2 children are murdered, connected, and that person is connected to a Dropbox.
Well, I don't know, but they wouldn't have known that anybody knew about the Dropbox connection. They live 30 miles away too. So.
But isn't that odd? 2 separate individuals, and even if it were the same person, this charged individual.
All it would mean was that that the Anthony Schatz profile might be connected to Richard Allen, but Richard Allen, everything that we just heard, if you really think about it, doesn't exclude, other than the part where they said old tips and one of those tips. So it's interesting that an old tip is what they were looking through, not a tip from Kagan, but they probably don't want to admit that they got a tip from Kagan to some source out there. So I don't really know. I'm not really sure how to think about it, but to me it's not that strange or anything.
That's a nice point you just made there, but when you think about it, what you just said made me think about this. Keegan Kline was an old tip. Anthony Schatz, the situation at the house where that all arose from, that's all old tips.
Well, it wasn't really a tip. It was Anthony Schatz profile came from a investigation looking at the social media account of Libby, and there was a like on there. Plus, that person had been communicating with Libby's friends, and they probably even mentioned, hey, I think Libby was talking to them, but that phone conversation was wiped out. Remember how Libby did a factory reset a week before? See, that's where a lot of this other stuff sort of comes in. It's like, did the factory reset a week before, was that something that Kagan or the Anthony Schatz profile asked? And boy, I mean, so here you got this other account making sure that they're safe and everything's deleted off of their factory resetting their phones and doing all these different things, and then some random killer shows up. I don't know. It seems weird.
The odds of that's so low. And then, with Keegan, he comes up. I mean, they know about him. They've got the tip on but to us, that is new because, well, I mean, December 2 years ago, I guess, we learned of, the Anthony Schatz, and then next day was Keegan Kline. Mm-hmm. I do remember it was a December. That doesn't matter, but that was new to us, old to them. So what I'm saying about the tip is that was old to them, new to us.
But it wasn't a tip, though. It was literally like an investigation. Nobody tipped somebody. It was just, oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was not clear. I meant about Richard Allen. That information, whatever their tip was, it almost seems like they went back, looked into that the same way they went back, looked into Anthony Schatz, Keegan Kline, and went from there. And then it just makes me wonder the odds of him going. I think this person did go out alone on that bridge that day, and he did this himself, alone by himself. So in that sense, lone wolf. But I think that came from, you don't just go and murder two girls. Yeah. Like that just does not, I never heard of that before.
So you're doing the I got to get these other calls, but so you're doing the you're doing the you think it's a lone wolf?
I think he acted alone, but I think he had fantasies.
Yeah, like I think he might have acted alone, and it was part of the Anthony Schatz profiles, how he got a hold of being able to meet the two girls there. Yep.
Yes, sir. I think that somehow leads back to the Dropbox Keegan Kline, and maybe Keegan Kline is doing the right thing, and he gave him everything up that he could do, and then they looked back and corroborated the old tip or that tip with whatever was going on, and even still, this man did it himself. That's kind of where I am.
Okay, cool.
Scratch
All right.
off the dark.
Oh, I got to get going.
Scratch off.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. We keep doing that.
Just scratch
delay,
off something. But I just got to get going on to the next call. So.
Oh yeah. Okay, you do that. Thank you. It's been a really great show. Thank you so much for taking my call, Greg.
We got you in the books, though. You're going to have it the scenario where he's acting lone wolf, but it's still through the Anthony Shots profile. All right, cool. I think.
Yep, I think so.
All right. Well, good luck. See you later. Bye bye.
I'm always wrong, so we'll see.
No, that one sounds legitimate though. That's actually what I was just saying at the beginning of the show. The same thing.
I missed the start. All right, you get to it, okay? Thanks a lot, Gray, for all you do.
Okay, thanks. See you later. Bye bye.
All right, bye bye.
I always do that. I always have that delay. So every time, for some reason, when she calls in and says goodbye, I'm always cutting her off in the middle of the. 317, you're on. Yeah, what's going on? Who's this?
Oh, it happens. Okay. I was enjoying the music there for a minute, for a while.
I never heard the hold music. Cairo loves it. He always tells me,
I know,
Gray, he tells me, Gray, make sure to have the waiting room because I love that hold music.
I think I weirdly like it too, in a weird way, but,
I don't even know what it
anyway,
sounds like.
I cannot hear what's being said or the other calls because that's what I can only hear the music. So if I'm going to say something that maybe somebody has said, just tell me to go on.
What?
I guess I said if I'm about to say something that maybe somebody else has said, but I can't hear it.
Oh, okay.
Just tell me to
go ahead.
go
Just-
on or something.
Well, just tell us what you think.
Okay, I'm going to try to say this like the best way that I can.
Who is this again?
My name's Bree. I've sent you some emails.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Bree. On this case or
I've-
something else?
Yeah, then I sent you something.
Well, just tell us
on
what your
something-
thoughts are, because I got another call
Yeah.
after you, too. So.
I just wonder if it's just so simple to where maybe he was involved in the CP. I don't think I can say it on air for some time. And maybe when he saw the girls on the bridge, maybe he didn't think it, but they recognized him.
Mhm.
I'm trying to explain this the best way that
Well,
I can.
you know what's weird about him is he's got this look. See, I think he was there to kill them, no matter what, because he works in the town. He knows that somebody would recognize him. He had the knife and the gun to control them, and he brought him down there to kill them. That's what the whole point of it was, because he knows that he's got a job that a week later a girl could walk in there and see him working in a store and go, "Oh my God, that's him! He's him! Arrest him!" He wasn't going to let that happen.
I just wonder if he was involved in the child stuff before that happened. And I've sent you my own case files where it's not a uncommon thing.
Yeah, but there's a different person, though, right? I mean, it's not.
And I get that. I do get that. But it was also very amazing what a big network that was.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't know if that's something I can go over on the show, those documents, but.
Yeah, it's fine. But, you know, it was just very amazing to me until I sat in that courtroom and heard what a big network that was, like things like Skype or websites I've never heard before, where people do that stuff. And I've just kind of always wondered, was it unsimply, but simple just as that? I don't know how to explain it.
I don't
Was
know.
it a money thing?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds
No.
like if you're going to go with the Anthony Shots thing, you know, based on all the
Yeah.
information that we have, you could say that, I mean, because the thing is, to me, it would be pretty astounding if it's totally unrelated to the Anthony Shots, Kagan Klein, all this. So that could, because that would be the network, and maybe Alan is part of it, and somehow maybe there's these people that they catfish for other people, and I mean, who knows what the what these people are going to do with them. Some might be to meet up and try to have sexual contact, or maybe another one is to do what this guy's doing. But all of them are providing, videos and images for the little network that they've got. And this guy just did something, he could be the catfisher scenario where he's in the network, but he's a serial killer type that wanted to be in the network so that he could fulfill his fantasies and have it sort of covered up a bit. I mean, he's not the one that communicated with the girl, so he's totally free from that. You see what I'm saying? So he didn't have those communications. And it's somebody else, so he's the one that's meeting those people, the girls, but he's not the one that communicated. And then maybe there's even more involvement where people are even driving around, dropping off, who knows if the weapon was put somewhere or what, but I don't know.
Or even if they only knew each other via screen name, because that's what I found out in court. There was this weird network where they would know each other by screen name. They were truckers, and they knew each other just by screen name.
So maybe that's all he knew.
As much as they would talk.
Yeah, people have said that in here. Like, maybe, I think somebody even typed something like that in the chat one time, putting quotes around a fake name. I don't know who said that, but it didn't sound too unreasonable at the time. I didn't read it right the first time. When I reread it the second time, I was, oh yeah, I see what you're saying. I make mistakes.
Well, I'll be very quick. So a federal plea hearing is almost like a state trial. Like, they still go over all the evidence. It's not like, oh, you're guilty, da-da-da, stamp it, here you go. I found out in federal court. And that's kind of how they caught him, and he's been doing that since like the 90s, the 80s. The network, per se, they would trade, sell, buy, whatever, and they would talk a lot. But it would just be screen names between, one amongst another. And that does make me wonder, like the Anthony Shop's profile, could he have been like, hey, I'm supposed to meet these two girls on the bridge in Delphi. Don't you live close to there? Something like that. Well, could you go meet them for me? And that sounds nuts, but it ain't that uncommon.
Yeah, maybe this guy had. I don't know how it works. Does this guy say something like, "I've got," he has these other types of fantasies, and people are willing to find a few girls for him to fulfill that. And also, they want a recording of it because then they're going to sell it to. I don't know how that works. Like, when these people do these snuff films, you wonder, like, how did that come about? Just in general. And if it's not the person that was selling it, like, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird.
When I went to federal court, oddly enough, I guess Skype. And then there was another website at the time that I know I sent you the probable cause, but I can't remember that certain site. But oddly enough, it was a lot of Skype.
Skype, yeah.
Weirdly enough.
Yeah, it's like Skype, and I don't know if Zoom does that, but like Skype.
Yeah, some other weird
chat room. One that was called Meet Me. That's actually what I would use at the very beginning of this case, ironically, to show people the flow of the crime. Because I needed it for work, so I go, hey, check this out, watch this. And so I'd have somebody join my Meet Me, and I'd show them the flow of crime. And one day I just went, what in the hell am I doing? I would get individuals to come watch it, and I said, why don't I just record it myself and put it up on YouTube? And that's how the Flow 3, the very first Flow, not 3. The very first Flow video came about was that I recorded what I would normally do on a Meet Me.
And I'll say this last thing, then I'll let you, because it is late. What I found out in federal court that I don't think might be in those records?
Yeah.
And the Internet Crimes Unit lady was talking in that courtroom.
Yeah.
And he was a truck driver. So I would go to Texas. There was something basically where it was evident that a woman online I'm sure you could go back and get like the transcripts, whatever. She was actually selling her 8-year-old daughter online. It was proven he went and met with that 8-year-old child at that location. They can only assume what was done. They've never been able to identify that 8-year-old child, even though he took picture and video. They've never been able to identify her. And then I've also kind of oddly wondered, and this is a weird one, but it's not that weird. It also makes me wonder, you know, I've learned since my case, you know, Indiana, oddly enough, has these nudist camps, and they're legal for children.
Yeah.
And it is legal. They run around naked.
Yeah.
And it makes me like, was he a part of that? But maybe they don't. I don't think that's why they wouldn't want to release a probable cause.
Hey, well, hold on. I got to stop.
Hey,
look at what Graz just typed in up there. Don't take that with anything other than a bucket of salt. About the McCain's daughter dated Richard Allen at some point. We don't have any proof of that at all. I'm sure.
I didn't
say you said it, but I got to stop it in the chat before people just keep going on and on and on and on. It might turn out to be true. See, look at everybody. Wow, whoa, whoa, ooh, ooh, ooh. Come on, Tamara. Don't buy into that stuff, okay? Please.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead. Finish what you're doing.
Oh, yeah, sorry. For anybody that's in Indiana, I know I was saying something about the nudist camps. I think when I sent you my document, I think originally it does say like USA versus sealed or vice versa, something about it, but it's obviously unsealed now. And I know from my victim advocate, that was one of the reasons why it was sealed. I'm not saying this is the same thing, but it was like something that little that made that sealed, because they were still conducting interviews from the nudist camp.
Yeah. Well, I think what we should do is maybe we'll do a show going over this at some point. But we're getting off of the,
But it does make me wonder, not necessarily like 2 and 2 related, but it makes me wonder, like, was he that slick? Was he in that whole thing?
Yeah, wouldn't that be crazy?
Like, where he just didn't get caught for a long time?
Maybe, was he even part of that or what?
But I'm not saying like part of like that specific thing, but just like the same websites, the same tactics, or it's a little town. I don't know how old his child might have been at the time.
Oh, okay.
Or was he just like
I gotta
stalker?
pause really quick again. That wasn't actually. Hold on a second. Okay, that wasn't even Graz's real channel up there. Okay, so he didn't type that in. That was a fake Graz. That was the troll account. So that wasn't him who typed that in. I just went and checked myself. All right. So, anyways, gosh, I gotta stop. Some of the stuff you gotta stop right in the middle of it, because there's people that believe stuff that's being typed in. So anyways, yeah, maybe this guy is part of a network similar to that one. I haven't had time to go over it completely, but I was reading through it, so at one point, so it's kind of...
And it's bizarre, but then it's not so bizarre when you learn, I guess, how bizarrely common it is. And I just, maybe it was his first kill, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just have a hard time believing he pulled it out of his ass one day to go on that trail and kill some
I mean,
kids.
To me, it makes more sense that he's part of a network somehow, but maybe he could have acted alone that day. But then there's other information that makes it sound like Kagan may have been in the area with the Marathon gas station, the red Jeep that he claims he parked waiting for somebody. So we have those types of things. But, that information that came out today was interesting because the tip apparently came from looking through old tips, not something new that came in, but they could be just not wanting, but it's not a document that's out there. It's some inside source saying it. So why would they have to make up some secret little? So I don't know, man. I don't know. it's just one of
They
those
all
things.
suck.
Nothing's gonna shock
Both
me.
of those two, they just suck.
They're all barbarians. But anyways, I appreciate you calling in. I need to look more at those documents, though. And then maybe we can do like a show, and you can, if you feel like it, you can talk about your experience or whatever.
It's all right, no rush. I just like when I call in, because I feel like I sound crazy or like stupid.
I don't
You
think
know
so.
what I mean? Like when I'm like, believe it or not,
I don't
this
think you sound
happens,
crazy
and
at
I'm
all.
like,
I think most people, I would say before Kagan Klein, that most of us weren't aware of the, well, actually, for me, it was when I started watching PCI Predator Hunter. So like a year and a half ago is when I started realizing the vast numbers of these people. So it's kind of like, I don't think what you're saying was weird at all right? But anyways, I got one more call to go, but I appreciate you calling in, and I'm going to go, one of these days I'll have the time to look through all those. All right?
good night, you guys. Good night, Grace.
Thanks for sharing with us.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one. Bye-bye. Yeah, it's a crazy story. Like, she was actually, part of there's like a few different victims mentioned in a like a probable cause document or something, and she's one of them. And it's just a crazy story. I mean, all this stuff, it's almost like if you made a movie about it, people wouldn't even believe it. All right, 818. Hello. Yep, I can hear you.
Recognizing,
You think the wife would have an easier time recognizing? Yeah, that's what.
if it husband.
Mhm.
For the life of me, I can't figure out why people. I mean, Ron Logan. I don't know how anybody can look at that and not realize he's got the same walk, the same gait.
No, it's
the
not
same
Ron.
limp.
It's not Ron Logan on the bridge. It's not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's.
I mean, look, I think people who think that's Ron Logan have mental deficiencies in like noticing anything.
Who makes up who gets somebody to try to cover?
Yeah, well,
an
somebody
alibi
that shouldn't be driving, that knew that if he was found out that he was driving, would be put in prison. And guess what? He got 2 years in prison because he drove. Yeah.
The morning when he went into the dump, he didn't ask for anybody to cover.
Yeah,
him.
the reason he
It's
didn't
precise-
ask about the dump is because he didn't think anybody would notice he was at the dump, because he didn't have to buy anything or leave a receipt there. He just threw trash in there.
Think he was that because he was driving around all the time. How would he be that concerned all of a sudden when this murder goes down? Another thing is, who did he text from the bridge at 2:09? Like 2 minutes after that.
Nobody said he
that- the
texted
photo-
from the bridge at 209. They just said it was on his property, consistent with. It wasn't. No,
Fine.
see, I know. Listen, you're watching the wrong channels. I know exactly who you're watching, and they're giving you false, bogus information. Okay. Sorry about that. I apologize that you chose the wrong channel to be watching.
That he dropped him is because they thought he was too old. I mean, if you have a weapon or something, you don't necessarily need the strength, right?
Okay, so Ron Logan's covered in blood, and he had to walk back to his house. Where did all the blood go? How come they didn't just track it? Why didn't they find all the blood on the ground that lead right back to his house?
Right the next day, so early in the morning, and then on
So
top
they
of
didn't
it,
find
he said he
anything at
gets-
Ron Logan's house after he murdered these
Because he
girls?
they're searching all over his property.
Ron
and he's
Logan,
too
the
busy
genius.
to bury him, to even go out there and help her to see what's
How
going
about,
on.
what I think would be
Who
cool?
does-
How about this? Ron Logan wasn't the greatest guy in the world, but isn't there a way that we can just let him rest in peace for a little bit? He isn't the killer. He is definitely 100% not the guy on the bridge. Okay?
That blames the family.
He's
He blames the
100%
family.
not the guy on the bridge. That is not what he looks like. Ron Logan has a white mustache, looks like Colonel Sanders. This guy doesn't have any of that. How did that happen? Did he grow a mustache that's an inch long in one day?
That walk is
No, Gray, he
unmistakable.
painted the mustache skin color.
And that cap, the hoodie underneath that jacket. I mean, it's and like I said, I can't get over that. I mean, I always thought somebody's got to recognize it, how distinctive that is. I mean, his gait, his walk is like, how is that a coincidence? I mean, if
What do you
really
mean the
look at
gait
it,
and the walk? He walked for 2 seconds. You don't know what he's doing.
there's a lot of videos. No, there's not. I'm not talking about the one video. There's other videos out there
Look,
when he's walking.
that's Ron Logan, everybody. That's Ron Logan.
And you know,
right
one
there.
more.
That's not Ron Logan
Is-
right there. Okay. See?
Everybody keeps. Well, why would he put him right in his, on his property in his yard? Well, it's because everybody. That probably was an ideal place because everybody thinks, well, who would, if you did this, why would you put him in your yard like that? Or in your property like that? It was like 1,400 yards from his front door or whatever. But there's so like I said, there's so many fishy things about. Like you said, he doesn't really have an alibi. He's making up an alibi before the bodies were even found. He blamed the family, like the family actually did this, and he's talking about murder them, the girl's family. Like who would ever say something like that? I don't know if he's got a beef with them or what, but
Man, you should be an auctioneer too. You talk so fast. Okay, so this picture right here is why people think he is the killer, because he's got this hat on, because it's brown, and then he's got this jacket. Ooh, that's the exact same jacket. Ooh, it's the exact same jacket. Ooh. How many guys have blue jackets that live in India? I saw a video one time where there was 10 guys. They all had blue jackets, blue jeans, and baseball caps. Every single one of them.
That's not the only thing that gets me, but like I said, the cap does look, to me it does anyway, it looks, and also the voice. I mean, he tried to, when he said down the hill, he tried to disguise it a little bit, but it sounds just like him.
Oh, listen everybody, he tries to disguise it a little bit, but it sounds just like him. You just already said it doesn't sound just like him, because he tried to disguise it a little bit.
But it sounds identical.
See,
I don't know how.
This is the picture right here that everybody goes, oh, look at. This one right here. This guy doesn't look anything like him. Okay? This guy right here looks absolutely nothing like... I don't even know why people keep saying that. It's really because, when somebody tells you to look at a cloud, and you go, and they go, look, it's a bunny. And you don't see it at first, but then you go, it is a bunny. It is. Oh my God, it's a freaking bunny. And then everybody then you believe it's a bunny forever after that, because it's...
Even in past, like he had 2 girlfriends that scared to death of him. One of them, he said, I'll kill you and they'll never find your body.
So let me ask you something. What does that have to do with anything, though? What does that have to do with a damn thing, what you just said right there?
That's disregard for the law. He's violent. I mean, he's been known to be... And also, that fanny pack that the guy on the bridge wearing, he's been known to carry that around and put with a gun in it all over the place. I mean, the people, I'm not saying that. I'm saying people that know him say that. I mean, and then they got the other 2. I know they say they got the pings from the phone because that's where he lives. But like I said, 2 minutes after, he texted somebody they're saying from the bridge, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, and all these lies and alibis, he doesn't have an alibi. He really doesn't. And
he actually told the police he left at 3 o'clock. He said he left at 3. So why would he do that? That actually puts him at the crime scene during that time. Boy, what a mistake that is.
We didn't get back till 5:30.
Yeah, but he said he left at 3. Why would he say that? It's weird.
Well, it's kind of weird to try to make, before the bodies are even discovered, to try and get an alibi when you're driving around.
Not really, because the night before there were people searching around, and he knew that they were going to be searching around and asking him questions like where he was and everything, and he knew that he had driven that same day, so he told his friend to make something up because he didn't want to be put in prison for 2 years.
He drives all the time. That's what people say. You see him all over town. That's why he got notorious for it. He's not like that. He just picked up that day and decided to drive himself somewhere. I mean, the family member came over to take him to the dump, but after that, he wasn't asking, like I said, for anybody to cover him for that. It was precisely the time.
Yeah, and all when they kept saying, this is where Ron Logan lives, and they say, the ping is consistent with being outside on his property. And you go, whoa, he's the killer. They say consistent with the crime scene. Guess what? His property is basically on the crime scene. Like, it's a quarter mile away. It's right there. There's only one cell tower. There is no way to do triangulation using one cell tower. It just gives you a general direction inside of a wedge. There's like usually 3 different, it could be, well, actually, sometimes there's 2, 3, and 4 different wedges of a pie, you could say. So some are 180 degrees, some are 120, some are 90, and the phone will ping in one of those, and you could say, oh, it's right over here. But there's no way to be specific on that. Now, people are saying, oh, no, Gray was GPS. Well, bullshit, okay? It's not, there was no GPS coordinates given out. It wasn't him on the bridge.
Like reddish colored pants, and that walk is like, it leaves you speechless to watch that,
Right.
that walk. Like just
Well,
a few videos.
here's what I'm going to tell you. Whether he's involved outside way somehow, I don't know. He's just not the guy on the bridge. Okay? That's all I've been telling people. He is 100% not the guy on the bridge. There is no doubt he is not the guy on the bridge. Now, if you think that he was somehow involved with Richard Allen some other way and was down there, I can't disprove anything that anybody's saying. He's just not the guy on the bridge, and it's 100%. So you can keep saying it's him over and over and over again. It's just not him. It doesn't look just like him. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm a visual arts person. Like, I've done 3D animation, went to arts, the Art Institute for a long time. I'm really able to look at things and look at them and know for certain. Like, I just know that's not him. Now, if it turns out to be him, I'll buy you an entire wardrobe of. But it just isn't. Okay, it's.
But look at maybe, like I said, some other interviews and stuff that he's given, and like maybe you just saw. I mean, I looked for them and I looked for some more, and there are quite a few out there. Even not the one when he's leaving the courthouse, but there's a few out there that it's just. He lifts that right foot up real high, real high. The way that he walks with that.
Right.
Sort of
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but that's not how the person on the bridge was walking differently because they're stepping over missing railroad ties and gaps and all kinds of things. So even Carter said, "Don't the way he's walking, just pay attention more to the mannerism." Exactly, Gray. He puts his he puts his hands in his pocket. One of them's even higher than the other. Oh my God, give me a break.
We're saying that they dropped it basically based on his age. That he's too old, which is ridiculous. Because he's not feeble by any means.
No, I think they dropped it because he's about 6 foot something, and this guy's 5'7", matching exactly the height that he is on the bridge. And yeah, the physical structure of his body. I made a whole video the other day where he has the rolled shoulders. Everything matches perfectly. Now, is there a doppelganger killer? Like if Chadwell was out there, he would have a very similar looking body, and I wouldn't be able to say, "Oh, wow, that's not him." But
I just think
Ron Logan doesn't have a body like that. He doesn't look like that at all.
But the sketches are ridiculous, and you're supposed to think they're onto something. I mean, that's what I'm even saying. I'm not saying that nobody else is involved or even.
Let me ask you something. That's another thing. When one of these girls was coming by, doing a sketch, how did they look at Ron Logan and say, he looked like he was about 18?
Yeah,
because Ron Logan's got like bloodshot eyes. He's got the Colonel Sanders mustache. There's almost no way that a witness seeing Ron Logan would have any chance of saying he was 18 years old, nor the sketch of using the video image where he looks like he's about 45 years old.
Why did they put that up there? Like, they said we'll merge the two images and then you'll find the face of the killer, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
they put
right. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's no chance of you convincing a soul in here that's Ron Logan who doesn't already think that. Okay. Because it just isn't Ron Logan. I know there's people like you. You're like a subset of the true crime community, sort of the fringe conspiracy theorist types that
Let's be Ron for a minute. The very first day that I heard that Kylie Rodney was missing, I'm not bragging or anything. I said they're going to find her in her she had a crash. I didn't know that it'd necessarily be in the water. It could have been off the side of the road. But whatever I said, she's going to find her dead in her car. She had an accident. Yeah. I said that, and I never wavered from that from day one because it was so obvious. She called her mom, said I'll be home. and the next thing you know, she didn't make it home. I mean, they have these things from sex.
But that doesn't mean anything. What you're saying.
It's logical. I don't.
No, but you're not being logical on the Ron Logan thing, because what you're not picturing is that the prosecutors and the investigators needed to sell a case to a judge to get over 50% of the burden to be able to give to a judge, where the judge goes, yeah, that sounds reasonable. Let you guys go ahead and search the house. So they worded things in a way that suggested a little, and that's why they brought in the ex-girlfriends. And what does that have to do with murdering 2 little kids? Zero. So you put it in there, okay, he's a violent guy. Oh, his phone ping consistent with this, and his voice is not inconsistent with. I mean, what a weak ass statement. His voice is not inconsistent with. So that means it's not even inconsistent. You know, it's just ridiculous. So that's what they used. The judge signed it. They got what they wanted, and guess what? It led to absolutely nothing. They didn't charge him on a damn thing.
Brings his KK in for interrogation and drives him home afterwards and says, if you find any more devices around here, make sure you turn them into us. Why did they had enough to charge him on TP stuff and all the other?
They had all that. They're probably just trying to. I don't know what they were doing with Kagan Klein, but they did go back to it later. But anyways, I think I got to get going. I got to end the show, but maybe you'll be able to convince somebody else out there.
I mean, I don't understand why they just let him go home.
Yeah, so have you ever watched any of my videos on the case? That's what Mag's asking.
All the time.
Okay.
But
yeah, she does, Mag.
He wasn't cooperative, so they just let him. They had enough evidence. Like I said, he should have been charged years ago.
Yeah.
Not now. Yeah,
no, I get what you're saying there. Yeah, we all thought the same thing on that, but your perception that is Ron Logan walking on the bridge is just not accurate. But you could actually come up with a story where Richard knew Ron Logan, and Logan was down there after the fact, and I can't disprove any of that, and that's why his phone was pinging around. You can come up with all that. All I can tell you is that is not Ron Logan on the bridge. Okay. Thank you.
Do you?
What's that?
Think it's Alan on the bridge?
Yeah, I'm almost. Yeah, I think it's very, very likely, based on Carter's comments after that press conference, that is him. He said that he goes, you do a mix between the sketches. That's Richard Allen, and they've always said the sketch is of the person on the bridge, and they've also said the guy on the bridge is the killer, and so you put all that together, and boom, I think that is exactly what they're saying. That they believe Richard Allen is the guy on the bridge and is the killer.
How do you think that law enforcement would feel about knowing they had a guy since day one and this happened?
Probably shitty.
And what a debacle.
Yeah, they probably feel shitty about it, especially since he came forward himself apparently to say, "Hey, I was at the bridge that day around that same time, but I'm not one of the droids you're looking for," and somehow nobody looked at him again. I don't know. It's crazy. But anyways, I got to get going. So I appreciate you.
The video out.
Was that?
Years later.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's taken.
Yeah.
To get in their wheels for.
Well, thanks for calling in. I got to get going now, though. Okay. All right. Thank you.
So thank you.
All right. Bye. Yeah, it's definitely not Ron Logan. Yes. Did I see Corey from Massachusetts wanting to call in again? Oh boy. God, can you believe it? All right, well, I got through that. Unreal. Jesus. Man, it was such, all the calls were so good. And then we get right down to the last one, and it's a Ron Logan call. I mean, but it wasn't bad, at least she tried. Yeah. Too nice jail. Hey, I'm not as mean as people think. Every once in a while there's a call that's shitty. This one, I just thought, why do it? Why get so... I'm not even upset. The show's... I don't know. Wow, just wow. Maybe that's what my shirt should be. I should have my face smiling. And it says, wow, just wow. Right? You got like a B, this account. You got a B. I just think your love for auctioneers took over. Okay, let's do it, everybody. Hit that like button one last time. Here we go.
I'm fired out of it, 10 down,
Or not
15,
one last
on
time,
I better dung bear on 15, I better dung bear on 15, 20, I better dung bear on 15, better dung bear on 20,
Yeah, we got to get to
5,
1,000. Come on,
30,
come on, you guys. Hit the like button. 5, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Hit the like button, hit the like button. 10, 20, 25, 30. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 75.
30 and 30 and 30, 25, better dung bear on 30. You want to put 30, sir, 25 of them, you're out. I better dung bear on 25, better dung bear on 30, 30, now 5, I'm 30.
What? Hey, Melanie, you think that the auctioneer sounds like the bridge guy? Is that what you're saying? 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. But Melanie won on the debate. 66% of you guys think that that it would be more likely for a spouse to recognize somebody than coworkers and good friends. So there you go. Yeah, that wasn't too far off. I was only at 30%. Here we go. Come on, Melanie. Oh boy, oh boy. That's funny. No, you won. You won the... Hey, Melanie, I'll tell you what. I'll send you a wow, just wow mug for having the percentages in your favor, okay? So send me an email. I'll send it over. How's that sound? Let's see. Got to get to the... Sound good? Awesome. And you can say, wow, just wow. Or you can just smash it. Gee. All right, here we go. Here we go. Started off with Allie Cake, Lisa Murphy, LMM, Jim Lawn, Macaque Tracker. Let's see. Lori Fisher, Lynette Joy. Give Ricky a new pencil while you're there in the slammer. Jeanette Drum. Annabelle Roma. Tracy Seamer. Mag. Dixie Chicken 1969. Tosh. Purchased my Wow Just Wow mug last night. The design is hilarious. Yeah. Adrian Minthorn. Mark. Jay. Jakey's 5. Eugenie. Jennifer Cardillo. Patty Dunn. Apocalypse Frau. Foggy Morn. Jody H. Loretta Reyes. Mama She 13. Sensei Wackadoodle. Kim Berger. Tosh. Cindy Lynn. Linda Howe, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. Bree Rice. Kathy Friedenmaker. H. Doc. Mag. Almost 1,500 here. That's right. Please give Gray a thumbs up, everybody. Hit the thumbs up. Georgina Stoliker. Colleen Dowman. Ali S. Ali S said, here too we learn so much from you, Gray. Thank you. Thanks for all the hard work. Well, thank you. Bundy Data. Bundy Data. Courtney Robb. I have an exclusive mystery dinner with everyone at the bridge that day, required to wear same thing they wore February 13th. Kim Berger. If people don't know their spouse is cheating, how would they imagine their spouse is a murderer? Good point, good point. Moofies. Nicole. Cleo Ellie. Bama forever. Poor Mr. Gray. You're not mean. Honest, yes. Jan Allison. Simple Life Days. Kim Berger. 80s Baggy. Kim Berger sent me to prison. Tosh. Wrongful Conviction. My Mary Lou Towards the Innocence Project. And then Mag. Bail only if you get... We're doing a flyby, so we'll be doing a flyby. I hope you're still here, Mag. Candalee Woodward Stone. Miss Skiss. Kelly B. Gray, you still own those knee-high Ugg boots. Kit Kat, Deep Diver, Kelly B. Okay, so here's my Vision Gray in knee-high. Oh boy, I don't want to hear that again. Robert Hart, tomorrow, not today, but tomorrow. Jiggy England, Shelly Ann, Bree Rice, The Velvet Army, Tosh, it's not Ron Logan. Vassarini, Mag said, can the caller call back after watching your videos? And she said she had. LMM and living it, as in living the dream. Then we've got, let's see, we have Your Gypsy, Nicole Bennett, This Account, Lillian and Nancy. And then we've got Janet Holman, probably not related to Jerry, but who knows. And Paulette Leonard. Thank you. Gotta get you in there. All right. And there we go. I think that is it. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. We're doing well this month, similar to last month. So wouldn't that be crazy if at the end of the month we're actually over 50,000 for the year, and that was the goal with 1 month to go. Wouldn't that be crazy if we had 3 months in a row? And I'm not going to say 60, forget it. 55 though, maybe. Huh? Oh, but I already made the mug, M. Morgan. Can't you just like the one that I made? You mean like this? Wow! Was that it? Wow! Yeah, it says wow and then ooh and all that. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. All right. Well, thank you guys very much. We're going to do a spin now. We're going to spin tonight for three different things. All right. So tonight's going to be three. All right. So here we go. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. We got the music playing. We're going to do the everything tumbler. The next one will be the it's a house mug, and the last one, maybe we'll give away the ooh 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 mug. Okay. So we'll do the ooh ooh ooh. Ooh ooh ooh. All right, here we go. Here we go. This one's for the everything tumbler. Oh, looks like it's going to land on Tosh. Oh. Do you want the everything tumbler? Probably want that, right? The everything tumbler, Tosh. You got to send me your address. Oh, you have one? Okay. Well, you can get one of the other ones. Well, I don't know what else there is. I need to make more tumblers. All right, so this is for the everything tumbler again, I guess. Simple Life Days. You've won the everything tumbler. This one's for the It's a House mug. Jiggy England. And thanks, Tosh, for spinning it along. Oh, you just got the tumbler? They're pretty good, aren't they? Pretty good quality, the tumblers. No, I think there's just that many sex offenders in the world. They live everywhere. right, now this one's for the ooh 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 mug. Here we go. Ooh ooh ooh. When you send me the email, you have to say what you want. There we go. Annabella Roma. There we go, everybody. No, you did not, Bobby. And the reason you didn't win, Bobby, is, well, you didn't play the game. Okay? All right, you guys, just a second. All right, you guys, so we're going to do the flyby here in a minute, but thank you guys very much for being here tonight and supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Very generous, everybody. Thank you. And the next couple days we'll be sending another donation in somewhere. Not sure, maybe we'll send something into, maybe the Innocence Project again, and maybe 500 somewhere else. Who knows? But anyways, thank you guys very much, and as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 5, and a 6, and a 7, and an 8, and a 9, and a 10, and yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, the projector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, free connector, and I'm gonna be a protector, fool deflector, intersector, and I'm gonna with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking checked ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody, talk to you later. Hey, Allah, hey, Allah. Well, let me get rid of my face off of here. There it is. Okay, now we can get this going. I think this is the one with Paul Bunyan's toilet, I think, is what it is.
Hey, Gray, is that Paul Bunyan's toilet? Yeah, it's right there. Look at that, Gray. I'm gonna get flushed down the toilet. Wow. Hold on, let me get rid of these other ones.
go, Mary Lou. We got more to go.
Okay, thanks.
Dude? Wow. Okay, Mary Lou.
I was bitching.
Okay, Mary Lou, you sound a little, just...
That was rad.
Oh, boy. Now you're just trying too hard, Mary Lou. Trying too hard. All right, well, hey, you guys, thank you guys very much for being here tonight. Really appreciate the generosity on the Super Chats. Allow us to keep on trucking this month. So thank you there. And thanks for everybody watching, hitting the like button, share the videos and the channel. It's like a family over here. I know it's not as sensationalistic and neato, but that's what we do over here. All right. So thank you guys very much. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there.
Hello? Is everybody leaving? Jay, I want to keep watching.
Yeah, that's what they say, but I gotta go sleep sometimes.
You're so mean, Greg. They're right. When they say you're mean, they're right.
You mean I can't just take a break every once in a while?
Well, that's a good point. All right, good night, everybody.
Oh my God. Does anybody else just want to... Ooh, Mary Lou. All right, see you guys later. And thank you guys very much. And the winners out there, send me an email with the address. Bye-bye. Oh, and YouTube Melanie, the other Melanie. All right, see you later. Bye-bye.